All right, what do you say we just get right into it, ladies and gentlemen? I'm excited for today. I appreciate you joining me. This is the Blunt Politics Podcast. I am Boston Brian, and we're going to have another great show for you today. One of my favorite personalities is going to be joining us. I was lucky enough to meet him for the first time on the humanitarian aid convoy to Ukraine. He is a wonderful gentleman, has done a lot for this country. He's got some great insights into not only what's going on as far as Ukraine, but also what's going on as far as the Republican Party and what's going on with the bill that they're trying to pass that is so destructive, that is so dangerous to the American people. Before I bring him in, before I say hello to the chat, I want to thank the mods for keeping the chat safe, making it a place where everybody can engage in discourse, share their opinions and still feel safe. So thank you to the mods. Let me bring in the chat for just a second here. Thank everybody for showing up. Carl, how are you, my man? WW, what's going on? Woody Mays, how are you? Denise, everybody on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, everybody joining us from Denver's page. I also appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. But before I get too far into this, let me bring in the man, the myth, the legend, former Republican Congressman Denver Riggleman. Let me see if I can do this correctly the first time in. Probably not that one. It's probably going to be, there he is. How are you, my man? How's everything?
It's good, man. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing very well. I'm doing very well. You know, people are frustrated. They're flustered about what's going on as far as the news of the day with the bill that's trying to be passed. Everybody's going through it and looking at the, destructive policy after destructive policy, poor people being taken advantage of, poor people being taxed while wealthy get tax breaks, healthcare being stripped from millions, food assistance being stripped from millions, access to wheelchairs, oxygen, wheelchair ramps, things that just, everyday normal citizens that have lived their lives, maybe of older age or maybe even be younger, that are struggling with disabilities or many other problems. So just before we get into everything else that's going on as far as Ukraine-based, what do you think on basically the news of the day? What do you think of this bill and what the Republicans are trying to do here?
Well, but other than what you said, it's a great bill, right, brother? So, yeah, other than all that, right, it's a great bill. It just adds to the deficit and the debt every year. But I want to tell, the folks how it really works behind the scenes. You might think that they're voting for their moral compass. You might think that they're voting because they actually believe in policy. What's going on behind the scenes, I just want to let you know, Brian, is that the whip teams, the actual speaker team itself, and the RNC are all messaging to every single one of them. If they don't vote the way they want them to, they're going to primary them and they're not going to get the funding that they need. And they're going to identify an opponent for them. And you better toe the frickin' line, or we're just going to take you out of the whole National Republican Congressional Committee funding line. And we're going to stop giving you money and we're going to stop supporting you. That's actually what's happening behind the scenes. They're looking at their polling and their crosstabs and they're saying, listen, our districts, they're mostly Republican. That means that they probably have 75 to 80% approval rates for Trump. You're talking about most of the moderate Republicans have been killed, like me. They've been actually dragged into the, shot and put in the woods, and we've had to actually regenerate and come out of the woods, So that's what's happening, buddy. And you're looking at this bill, and you're looking at some of the people who voted against it, it's just interesting to me that a bill that's this fiscally irresponsible, that destroys the very base of the Republican Party because Medicaid, if you know, in rural districts and Republican districts, that's where they get their health care. It's just stunning to me that they're doing anything Trump says and has nothing to do with any type of moral compass or policy decisions at this time.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely spot on. And once again, I thank you for joining us here on Blunt Politics. Thank you for your time. And I guess I probably should have started off with maybe yourself giving a rundown to the people of my chat, and maybe anybody else that may be joining us or watching this later that may not be as familiar with you as I am. Just give them a little Cliff Note rundown of who
Yeah,
you are
man.
and why you're in this position here.
Sure, man. Former military intelligence officer, Air Force, did deploy to 6 major operations, including 9/11. As you know, I was one of the first in for that. But then went and did a bunch of tech work for the National Security Agency. Started my own tech company, sold them, Brian. So did okay there. Was in NSA Special Projects. Got to see a lot of stuff with data. Got to go after a bunch of people in Russia and China to let you know their communication networks. And then look at that, baby. That's my coin right there, man. The congressional coin with the B-1 bomber on the back, which I was associated with in 9/11. Then, I did something really dumb. There we go, man.
It's so awesome. I
Look
love
at
it.
the American flag, the Virginia flag. I was Virginia's fifth district, but I started distilleries. My wife is a master distiller. We started making whiskey, and I had my tech companies that I had sold, and I was able to invest, and she's now a master distiller. But by 2015, 2016, I'm getting into 45, 46. I started seeing some really bad things with overregulation, but also with it seemed like large companies. Here I am. I ran as a Republican. I went against Dominion Oil or Dominion Power, who tried to run a pipeline over our property because I'm big time with private property rights, but also with people being able to make decisions about their own life. I thought I could run as a new Republican. I won a little bit by accident. I was never in politics till I was literally 47, my friend. Like really
Right.
had never run for anything, and I won. And then 7 months after I won, here I am, somebody in a very rural red district. I officiated a gay wedding and they decided to call me the tool of the Antichrist. That's when the death threats started, and that's when I started going after QAnon. So I was the probably first Republican to go after QAnon, to go after Trump's conspiracy theories. This was in 2020, and then they took away a primary from me on COVID. And if you want to know how to really steal an election, I'll tell you about conventions. And yeah, yeah. So without a vote, because disenfranchising people is the way to steal elections, not the 2020 2024 election conspiracy theories. But then I was on the J6 committee. I got invited by Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, and I was a senior technical advisor based on my background with big data. And I'm the one who found the Meadows text. We're the one who deciphered that. I'm the one who found the Jenny Thomas text. I did all the call records. I'm the one who linked the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers. Then I wrote a book, New York Times bestseller, went on 60 Minutes, and I got attacked by the right and the left. And now everybody knows I'm telling the damn truth. So there you go, brother. That's pretty much the Denver Riggleman bio in 2 minutes.
Now, I appreciate that. It seems like you've worked on that.
Well, a lot of people are like, "What the hell have you done?" Like, dude, you've done crazy stuff. I've been to cool parties. Once you party with British contract pilots in Oman, you've been to cool parties. Trust me.
Now, can I just ask you, since you've been involved with the Republican Party in politics, how drastically has that party changed? Not only in policy, but also in rhetoric and what it seems like their hatred for certain classes of people, certain nationalities of people, and their determination in order to get their racist, bigoted, homophobic, Islamophobic policies into legislation. Like how have you seen it progress since you were involved?
I think when I ran during a blue wave, one in 2018. Brian, I really thought I could be this new Republican. And you would think after all the years that I served in the intelligence community, me actually building legislation in the intelligence community, I didn't care about politics, but we had to build stuff for Congress and the appropriations bills. You would think I wouldn't have been so naive. And I thought as a new Republican, my first thing I said is our party's not so small that it only fits in the bedroom. Like, who cares if somebody's gay or what their lifestyle is, right? You'd think a conservative wouldn't give a rat's, right? It's about personal choice. It's about government staying out of your life. But I'm not a very religious guy. And I think what I didn't realize, even being raised as evangelical as I was, I didn't realize that a lot of 80% of the policy is based on biblical principles. as far as they're concerned. I even had people, in the party say every single law should be Bible based, that it should only come from the Bible. And I would push back, like, that's ludicrous, right? I mean, we can't base policy, right, on religious belief systems, or, is that any different than Islam or any different from any of the other,
Right.
big power
Exactly.
religious movements? And they're like, Denver, you suck, So, like, well, I don't really want to do that. And they also tell you, if you can go along to get along, if you vote enough with us, we'll eventually allow you to be independent. And you start taking worse and worse votes, and you sort of start losing your soul, man. And I think really after I officiated the same sex wedding, I think that was the beginning of the end for me.
Hmm.
And I know a lot of people in here, maybe you vote Democrat and, things like that, or maybe you vote independent, or maybe you vote Republican. But for me, I started to get a very sour taste about any political parties as I saw, how both work behind the door. Like, there's nobody can tell me how Congress works. Brian, like, I know, I was there, I was a congressman, and I know how massive investigative committees work because I did that too. So I'm in a really strong position to say the Republican Party now is really a Christian nationalist party, pretty much, right? It's more based on Christian
Right.
nationalism and also on fantasy, right? Almost on delusion at times. I mean, you have certain congressmen hiring UFO believers to be on their staff. So, there's a lot of, I think almost sort of a delusional way of doing policy, and I think that leads to ruin. If we keep doing that, it's short term and long term.
I think you're absolutely right. And I think, was that the Jewish space lasers we're talking about, or was that a different UFO conspiracy?
Well, yeah, it's a different one, right? I mean, I know we could always have a show here on Blunt Politics at one time about, alien abduction conspiracy theories, or non-human intelligence conspiracy theories, or hell, even chupacabra and Bigfoot conspiracy theories. There's nobody who knows more about that on Earth than I do. About the insanity of that, like, I am the guy on Earth, right? Especially when it comes to those conspiracy theories. So if anybody ever wants to challenge me, I'm your Huckleberry on that stuff.
All right. So getting into Ukraine, how does Denver Riggleman get from where we just heard the story that we just heard to getting involved, hands on, literally boots on the ground in Europe, in Ukraine, in Kiev, and further? How does that come about in your life?
You know, it's people calling me, right? Like Ken Harbaugh and things like that back in the summer of 24 about the first trip I went on last year in September. And again, my background, just to let people know, in 1999, I was on the Romanian Serbian border for Operation Allied Force. So I had a lot of Eastern Europe time, had to go north up into Hungary and do some other things I can't talk about too much.
Mhm.
So had a bunch of Eastern Europe time. So when it came to Ukraine, just to let people know, the military, I was an enlisted guy and then became an officer. I'm a Mustang, Brian, right? So
Right.
started out as, enlisted. I was a maintainer, worked on jets, but then my officer said, you're just above moron. You should be an officer, right? Because enlisted people are usually much smarter than officers. I'm just going to say that. So, became an officer. And at that point, right, really got involved in intelligence work out there. So when they asked me to go back to Ukraine, and especially with my knowledge of Ukraine, I thought it was a great opportunity for me to show my support. And plus, I hate Russians. That's simple.
Right. Right. And that was enough. I mean, I was lucky enough to, again, have some similar connections as far as with Ken Harbaugh, which, gave me the opportunity to go myself and to lend a hand and to see firsthand with my own two eyes what's going on, to see with my own two eyes the resilience and the determination of the Ukrainian people, to see the brilliance and the knowledge they have as far as weaponry is concerned, as far as drone technology, as far as using AI. As far in combined with drone technology, the different ways they've used different platforms, we got to see. So it was really eye opening for me to be there and see it firsthand. And then, especially when, I don't know when you got home, because I know you went on a little bit further, but upon my arrival back in the States was when we were learning of the Ukrainian mission to strike inside of Russia, the air bases, using very similar technology as far as the drones are concerned to what we saw in the demonstrations and in the touring of the facilities. So when you saw that, when you heard the news of their successful strikes that they had, what were your thoughts on that?
And it was, oh shit, I'm in Odessa. so, so right. So so
It's
I
kind
was
of similar
there.
to what happened when we were in Kyiv, and then we heard that Ukraine had carried out another successful strike, not as involved or detailed or deep inside of
Yeah.
Russia, but we were in Kyiv and we were kind of like, oh shit, that kind of puts us in the firing line. But we were very
Yeah,
lucky,
man.
very
So
lucky.
I was I when that happened, we were doing a trip down through Mykolaiv to Providny, and just to let people know, Mykolaiv, Providny areas where the Ukrainians stopped the Russian advance in March of 2022. That was where all the trench stuff and all the real awful stuff happened right in the stop of that advance. So we went into Providny and Mykolaiv, and all of a sudden we get the news, man. I'm like, crap, and we're going to Odessa. So that happened. Mykolaiv that night, we had massive air raid alarms and all that stuff. And then Odessa the next night, is when we had the big attack in Odessa, right? And that's where me and Ken finally had to go down into the bunker with our folks, with Steve and Lana, the people we were with, and say, oh, okay, here we go. And of course, I was running in and out of Kherson, and as people know, that is right on the edge, right? If you get within 800 meters of the river in Kherson, you're in sniper territory for the Russians. So I went way down in there, ate chicken heart borscht in basements in Kherson, but really, it was just an amazing thing they carried out. And I just want to tell people the indiscriminate killing of civilians by Russians happened well before that strike into Russia, as you know, Brian. But
Right.
it definitely, there was an aggression for 3 or 4 days while I was there. I was like, woo, here we go. Right. Our car broke down trying to get out of Kherson. We had to jump start I was trying to drive a right-hand drive, left-hand stick out of Kherson. Nobody else
Right.
wanted to drive it. So here's a former congressman. Everybody was like, we're not freaking driving that thing. I'm like, what the hell? Right. So I'm like, let's get out of here. So I'm going 100 miles an hour through Kherson. And just to let people know too, Brian, Kherson has no stoplights. They took them all out. You can't stop in
Right.
Kherson. It's all, the cops will tell you to keep moving because of the drone attacks. So, and I just want everybody to imagine a complete town. Now it's been 70% depleted because of the Russian invasion, but a complete town with no stoplights and people are just driving as fast as they can. And borscht is very good. I never had chicken heart borscht, by the way, borscht. So but I ate the hell out of that gummy chicken heart borscht, my friend, because they made it for me and it was delicious. So pretty nuts, man. It was nuts what happened, buddy. Nuts. So I thought, oh shit, here we go.
Now, what's even crazier is, the footage that managed to come out of not only your time there, but I was actually lucky enough to talk to Steve Ketman recently, a few shows ago, and we played one of the clips from your
Oh.
interviews with Ken Harbaugh. I believe it was in the square that you were just mentioning because it had
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of spent missile cartridges and ammunition just strewn all over the place, kind of piled up there. So I was very lucky enough to speak to Steve, and thanks again to Steve for coming on there. I want to talk a little bit about your interview with Konstantin. I was fortunate enough to get to film your interview with a Ukrainian soldier who, to say the least, had been through the ringer, right? I mean, to say that you could see in this soldier's eyes, to see the pain that he had been through and what he had to endure, would be the understatement of the century. I mean, it brings emotion to me every time I think about it. But what did your time speaking to him and his stories about? He was also talking about the liberation of Kherson, as it pertains to the story you were just talking about. And to hear that he was left in a ditch for, from what I remember, several days uh,
Days.
before being airlifted, not airlifted, but rescued ultimately. So just, can you give me a little bit of what you took from what these soldiers actually have to endure on the front lines day in and day out, and what it does to them, not only physically, but also mentally?
First of all, Brian, thanks for being there on that one. That was, I was sleep deprived. In the next room we had Kenny Casey, right, from Dropkick
Such a
Murphys.
wild situation, the whole thing.
Yeah, and then I talked to Ken this morning, by the way, and then here me and you are with Steve, right, Ketman, and it's this combination that you see me being prior military. of how in the hell do you mix that kind of trauma, the fact that you can tell he went through that kind of trauma, right, Brian, and the
Mhm.
sense of humor he had simultaneously. I right? And it's that fatalistic humor, but also you could tell there's some of the things that he said in translation when I went back and saw that it showed that Constantine had certainly been through damage that it's hard for a normal human being to imagine.
Right.
And especially when you talk about bleeding out when he's trying to tourniquet himself in a ditch while there's bombs going off around him. And he's still, and I don't know, I know that people didn't see Constantine, we did, but he still is, was physically damaged to the point that he needed, a little bit of help to get in and things like that, if you remember.
Yep.
He still isn't even completely healed. And if you look at his some of the facial things that were happening where, you can almost see him reliving some of that in real time, especially with
Right.
some of the tics. And, I'm like, my heart was almost broken when we were doing that. And then to have that baseline, brother, and then to interview Sean Penner, right? Who made Live, Fight, Survive, which was the book on Russian torture, for these type of things. And then and Oleg, who ran Resistance out of Mykolaiv,
Right.
and his torture. And then Alexander, who is a theater guy, who also was taken to the basement, which is really the word for interrogation rooms in Russia. So I think when you're looking at all this as a whole, Constantine was the baseline to look at the damage that has been done all across Ukraine. And I got to tell you, man, the fact that you were there, and I know me and you listening to Lana translate was very, very difficult. And I do hope at some point we can play that complete interview translated for people so they know what we're talking about, buddy.
Well, even she at times was like hesitant to translate his responses and comments because they were so dark and so, grisly and so, descriptive. And I remember distinctly him talking about how before the war he would have never imagined eating whatever he calls breakfast and having whatever he calls coffee several feet or a foot away from a dead soldier or a dead Russian or one of his friends that had just recently died, and they're just sitting there as if things are normal. And he's speaking about how before the war, this was not me, this is not my life, this is not how I envisioned things or thought how I would react to this type of situation. But here I am, you know what I mean? And it's like, I do this because this situation was forced upon us. And if we want to keep our land, if we want to keep our brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers in their homes, in their homeland, then we must fight, there's no
Um,
option.
no, you're right. No, Brian, it's amazing when he was talking about that, right? Going from normal to insane and blood, right? It was that progression as Constantine was talking, but we're pretty good, right, at talking to people, right, and making them know. And I think the one time I think you saw me hesitate, Brian, and I think you're going to remember this, is when he said I was sitting there eating and my friend's head exploded.
Right.
Um, that, and I know we're on blunt politics here, and that's the perfect name for this, but that's what Ukrainians are going through. When you're talking about Russia specifically, and you're talking about a country that invades another country that's autonomous, and we can't seem as United States and our government structure to support material and weapons to a country being attacked really by almost a death cult machine in the Russian military. And so it's really incredible to me when you talk to people on the ground, you can be much more blunt in your assessment that Russia is simply a criminal nation with indiscriminate attacks on civilians and using weapons, right, that are very lethal. And I think that people need to understand that.
Yeah, for me, it was definitely an eye-opening experience, to say the least, to see, just feet in front of me, the actual damage that Vladimir Putin himself is inflicting upon these people. Like, if that is probably was probably a perfect representation of how so many Ukrainian military service members feel, whether it be physically or mentally at this point, because I'm sure they are exhausted. A lot of them are spent and have spent a significant number of months and years on the front. It was, and then not only that, but to contrast that with the good that was going on just in the other room, where you got Ken Casey, lead singer of the Dropkick Murphys, teaming up with the Oh Hamsters from Ukraine to make a wonderful piece of music, right? To come together in a time of war, two nations, two different groups that speak different languages, but to come together and to have some fantastic backup singers as well.
I think there's some unrealized talent in backup singers. I'm almost wondering if I should actually be, a professional singer now. And I was talking to Ken. He goes, Denver, we heard your voice so well. And I'm like, it's pretty talented. He goes, man, thank God I was in Ukraine. So, but to be a backup singer on something that could be a video, and, talking to Ken today was just incredible. Right. So that's what we're doing. Let me drink it on the plane, man. I sent that to you, I know. But that was I had barely made the flight, right, to get out of frickin' Poland, man. I got to tell you this story. I was actually, God, where was that, to get out of Germany by that time on the way back. But yeah, it's been a crazy ride, brother. And again, meeting you there, I got to tell you, I feel very fortunate to meet people like you, and the fact that you had the guts to go over there. I mean, that speaks to you, Brian. And now that you've been there, right, it's hard not to fall in love with the people, and it's hard not to want to go back, right? I mean, you get that feeling some days, like, I wish I was there drinking a cappuccino during a drone strike. And no shit, that has been my thought. Like, when I was in Odessa, I'm sitting there and the air raid sirens are going off. I'm drinking a cappuccino, and my translator, Lana, looks at me, and I look at her. I'm like, should we be running? She goes, no, I don't hear them yet. Just drink your cappuccino, So
Right.
The Ukrainians don't give a hell, right? They don't give a hell.
Well, it's just the ability to speak to them face to face. And I spoke on the show not long after I got back about how embarrassed I was that they were so appreciative of what they said the United States has done and is doing. And I am just embarrassed because I know firsthand that we have the ability to be doing so much more. We have the ability to be supporting and defending Ukraine in a variety of different ways, whether it be financially, whether it be militarily, whether it be just with trying to get negotiations going to get Russia the fuck out of Ukraine on the whole. I mean, there's many different ways that we could be doing more. And I'm very fortunate to have people in the audience here of Blunt Politics that care, that are here to support and do support, whether it be through United 24, Volodymyr Zelensky's fund there, whether it be through people like you or I who go over there and actually deliver medical equipment, everything from trucks down to mosquito and bug spray. It was literally the full package, so it was an honor and a privilege to be able to get my hands on the boxes, to be able to drive a vehicle through Warsaw, through Ukraine, looking at the countryside, meeting the people, then to ultimately deliver that to a squad that desperately needs vehicles, and to see their appreciation when I feel like we should be delivering thousands of vehicles. We should be delivering thousands of weapons. We should be delivering hundreds of thousands, if not millions of rounds of ammunition. And then we should be doing everything we possibly can to, holy shit, hold on. Timeout. I'm sorry. I gotta time out for a second. It looks
up,
like
buddy?
somebody just sent a $500 super chat. Looking forward. Oh my God, it's Pierre from the
Is it Pierre Hollis?
Holy sugar.
Pierre, my man.
Thank you so friggin' much. Holy shit. That is amazing. Pierre,
Yes,
I can't thank you enough. And, just another fantastic individual with obviously military background,
Former
military
Marine.
college, correct? I'm not 100% sure how much he wants us to divulge. That's all.
Well, listen, I said former Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. So I'm sorry about that, Pierre. I know Pierre probably on the other side, right? Because he's not that far from me. I'm not talking about in my house, right? Pierre lives down the road. But I bet Pierre's like, Denver, not former Marine. I am a Marine. I'd bet you $100. Pierre was doing that, man. I
Oh my
bet you.
god, that is
That's
incredible.
awesome. That's
But yeah, I
awesome.
mean, again, that kind of brings me to my next question for you, which is, what did you think of the kind of I'm like in shock here. Holy shit. What did
Pierre's the
you think
man.
of the variety of human beings that congregated to go on to that humanitarian aid convoy mission, from people from all walks of life, all different careers, whether it be we had a ton of military members, we had a ton of military intelligence, former military intelligence. I'm a former plumber, was a plumber at the time. We had, I guess, we had musicians, we had former Capitol police officers in Harry Dunn. Speak a little bit about the people that were there on this mission, and were you surprised at the variety? How did it kind of hit you when you met these people?
Well, the first time there were even hidden Republican other former congressional representatives and staffers on the first one in September. So I think what you have is a cross section of badasses who actually value fact over delusion. Brian, you know, listen, anybody who says Ukraine's the aggressor or there's Nazis in Ukraine, like the whole Azov battalion, which we know that's bullshit, or the things that they make up about Ukraine to support Putin's own propaganda, especially what you see on X, even on Blue Sky sometimes, but across weird social media channels, Truth Social being really up there as far as a propaganda, machine, is that I think Americans need to know that there's two things happening in this country. We have this, well, there's really three. You sort of have this facts-based, rational way of looking at things and knowing what's going on for real. Then I think you have this tribal split. And a lot of people, I don't do whataboutism, right? There's no way that the Democrats are matching what the Republicans are doing in disinformation, the things that they're doing as far as fantasy and things like that. But I think you have this center space. It's not even a center, just this realistic space where you have good people that get together to help a country that's just being absolutely overrun by insanity. And that's either, glide bombs, missiles, drones, mines,
Mhm.
artillery, right? And you have all that happening to them, and yet they're still going on and continuing their normal life as much as they can. When I when you see the people that went, like you, like Pierre, right, like Ken, but like Harry, we even had one of the people that's linked to Dr. Dre, right? And we can talk about that at some time. But we have all these people that are part of it, and you had Republicans, Democrats, and independents. But I think we're beyond that. I think if you're going to go to Ukraine, we're just talking about the sane. We're talking about people who care. You're
Mhm.
talking about rational. Talk about individuals who see it what it is. People will say, they're conspiracy theorists or propagandists or liars. Believe me, don't believe your lying eyes. Well, that's bullshit. And I think that's what we have to, get when we have the people like you, Brian, that go, and other people like that, is you have to see it. If somebody's telling you something and you're like, that doesn't sound right, it usually isn't. That's Occam's razor. But if you go over there and you actually have the guts to cross that border like you did, you drove across. How many Americans have gone from Poland into Ukraine right now during wartime? I mean, it's a very small
I
amount.
heard a number in one of the briefings that we had, that somewhere around the note like 5,000 Americans
It,
in total have stepped foot in Ukraine since the full scale invasion of 2022. It could have been since 2014. I forget at this
yeah.
moment. That's a
And
that's
how
a
many
tiny
Americans are there?
fraction. Right.
340 million.
Right.
Right? So 5,003. Let's do some math, right? 340 million was 10%, 34 million, right? What's 1%? 3.4 million. What's half of 1%? 340,000. What's half of 1%, right? Now you're down to 34,000. What's half of 1%? Now you're down to 3.4 thousand. So now you're getting down into that 0.00001 or
Right.
something like that of Americans that have actually had the guts to go into Ukraine and see it for themselves, rather than being in their basements on a beanbag picking their nose, or mommy and daddy bringing them a peanut butter and jelly and saying that, the Ukrainians are the aggressors and we love Trump. Really, that's exactly, the fight we're against, right? You have a million idiots coming over the wall and you have a few rational people that are trying to stop them all. It's almost like World War Z, right? Don't play the music so loud because the freaking zombies are coming over the wall. And that's what we're having to
Right.
freaking fight right now. Boy, that was a rant.
I mean, it's much needed though, because with so much going on, and we're hearing in the chat, I think that this bill is somewhere near passing. If I'm kind of
They
reading
always
what's
cave,
going,
brother. They always cave.
um, So, I mean, we can expect, I believe, either it has or it's on the verge of. I'm still trying to figure that out. It's not being reported. Doesn't seem like, as far as it's being 100% passed, just says live updates, House voting right now. It's kind of giving me a see how members are voting type deal. So maybe they're still voting, but it just
I
passed.
think
Karen Ames. Okay, Karen. Justice says it just passed. All right. So Tanya says it passed. Just fucking did ask is not happy, and I don't blame them. Um, yeah, again, just the destructive nature of the policy is one that is, it's hard to fathom that it passed. All right.
I don't know if
Sorry.
Hakeem Jeffries was still doing his magic minute, trying to push the. I knew Hakeem was up there talking. There's something called a magic minute that the leader, the minority leader, can. Yeah, 217, 214. So that means Massey did vote against it. Maybe Fitzgerald. A couple people were trying to push Ukraine support to actually pass it, but it looks like they all caved, my friend. They all caved.
Yeah, like Lisa Murkowski, who ultimately put, I
Uh,
guess, some wind and tax benefits of this for the state of Alaska ahead of the American people in totality. But again, that just goes to show what's going on in this country is so devastatingly important. So that it just seems so difficult to also keep not only Ukraine on the forefront, but also what's happening in other places around the world. I mean, we can't get lost in the sauce, as I like to say, because there are multiple atrocities, multiple horrific things going on, whether it be in Africa, whether it be with the Palestinian people, or whether we're talking about the Ukrainians, and many more on that list. So to speak to how difficult it is and in what ways we can continue to keep Ukraine on the forefront, on the minds and the hearts of the American people and beyond, so that we can continue to raise awareness and support for their plight, especially at a time where we see Donald Trump doing absolutely nothing, if not the exact opposite of what he claimed he could come in and do, which was end this war in 24 hours. And we've seen nothing but reports that drone strikes and attacks inside of Ukraine have done nothing but doubled since Donald Trump took office. So, can you just speak a little bit about what we could possibly do and maybe how difficult it is to keep this in the foreground, in the spotlight, especially with such pressing issues happening inside of our own country?
well, I guess I want to ask you, you want me to blow a little bit of happy smoke or be completely blunt here?
Uh,
So,
this this is a blunt politics podcast, so I would like you to be 100% honest upfront with using any language you choose.
well, as long as Trump is president, it's almost impossible to do anything based on what's happened, not only with judicial decisions, but the fact that Congress is owned by the GOP, and not only owned by the GOP, they're owned by Trump. It's not a party that's based on a platform or some kind of moral issue or looking at geopolitical situations in a realistic way. What they're doing is they're following whatever Trump says because they want to be reelected, right? They want to be part of this bizarre sort of MAGA thing that's happening in the country right now. um, I think what you've seen too, right? Everybody saw, us hit Iran, but Russia didn't come in for Iran, and all of a sudden they increased their attacks to Ukraine, and then we have weapons that are stopped in Poland. These aren't coincidences, and then make up a story that we're out of arms. My gosh, guys, we're going to have a $1 trillion military budget coming up here. I know the military budget, where we don't have to run out of anything, to be honest, at this point with the amount of money, right,
Listen,
that's being
I
pumped.
hate to I hate to stop you, and
Go
I'm
ahead.
not a big gloater usually on my own show. I kind of am more of the self-deprecating nature, like where I make fun of myself. But I did say on this show yesterday that exact same thing, that if you believe that in some way our stockpiles are diminished, and that's the reason that we're not sending weapons to Ukraine, then I get a couple bridges
It's literally a
in
lie.
buildings to sell you. It's ridiculous. Or the only other option I said was that they are possibly preparing for some war, and they need these stockpiles to be at a higher percentage when going into battle than at, say, a peacetime level. That's the only other thing that I can think of. But I think you're 100% right, and I hate to stop you. I apologize. Keep
Hey,
going.
it's okay. Gloat, man, gloat. Because listen, is right now. I'll be honest. Right, during 9/11, we did run out of penetrating weapons. Right, we had to go to instantaneous fuse JDAMs. Right, there are times, but we had so many of the other weapons. Right, so even if they said, "Oh, we're out of Patriots," right now we can't really rearm the Patriots. Well, we can send them the Stingers. So there's it's almost, it's ridiculous. Let's be, I mean, we have plenty of armaments that we can send them, and plenty of things we can do to support the F-16s there. I mean, there's a million things we can do. So all that's, when has this administration ever told the truth, especially a conspiratorial administration, the same administration that supported J6, right? They don't. So you just sort of go back, look at past performance, Brian, right? Past performance is indicative of future performance. And if they've lied before, they're probably more inclined to lie in the future. I mean, or to lie right now. So that's really what I'm looking at. So what can you do? Do what we did. Support Ukraine through humanitarian efforts. Try to bring it up to your representative if you can through the district offices. But if you're in a Republican district, you might as well be pissing in the wind. Mm-hmm. They're going to vote how, he wants to. There's a few Ukrainian, really pro-Ukrainian congressional representatives out there, Republican. Mike McCall, Brian Fitzpatrick, Don Bacon, right, that are really pro-Ukraine. The issue that they have, if they don't vote the way Trump wants them to, they actually can't help Ukraine. So now they're over a barrel. So there's a lot of weird stuff that goes on when you're in a two-party system. Again, if you ever want to talk about the drug dealing that goes on, I'm not saying real drugs, by the way, the transactional dealing that goes on in Congress, I can let you know. But right
now,
like
the backdoor dealings that Senator Lisa Murkowski made her flip on this same bill. You know what I mean? She was railing against the bill, and then all of a sudden the backdoor room meetings happened, and she gets a couple things that maybe I'd like to see what her stock portfolio looks like and whether or not she has any wind or solar stocks riding in there, or what's going on.
Buddy, Lisa just guaranteed. She just guaranteed her reelection because she dragged that carcass back to Alaska, regardless of what the lower 48's doing or Hawaii. I hate to tell people this. They don't care. It's not, you care. That's great. But if you're representing that specific district, whether you're a Republican or, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a congressional member on the House side or the Senate side, you need to drag carcasses back. So if you have a two-party system, there's no way to find if you have no integrity in the process and it's completely transactional, it makes it very difficult to come things that are great, that are good for the entire country. It makes it very difficult. And when you have delusion-based policies, when they're making policy based on fantasies and conspiracies like Ukraine and Russia, or it looks like they're actually pro-Putin. Mm-hmm. And, there's an old saying, right, Brian? Whether you get shot on purpose or shot on accident, you're still getting shot. So whether he's purposefully supporting Putin or he's too dumb, right?
Same outcome. Yeah.
It's the same outcome for Ukraine and for the United States. So right now, what you can do is help in humanitarian ways. You can maybe go to your representatives to scream louder about Ukraine. But what it comes down to, unless the midterms have some success where you get Democrats or maybe one or two, I don't even know if that's possible anymore. I've been asked to run again, Brian, many times, right? And is it even possible to have a sane Republican? You can't win. Because if you have, if you're running in a primary and Trump has a favorability rating of 80%, you've lost already. There's no reason to run. You can't win. You can't even get money to run. So it comes down to is that people like me have to run as an independent or a Democrat. We don't have a choice. If we want to try to get in, and then we have to go against, sort of established political pipelines that we weren't a part of, right, when you started. So this is really difficult. And I don't know. I wish I could tell everybody here. I wish I could tell you, Brian, there's some magic bullet or there's some kind of magic solution that I could just pluck out of my rear parts and slam it on the table for everybody. But that solution does not exist. I've always told people it's going to get worse before it gets worse. And, that you're seeing that today. Oh, look at that. Unfortunate altar boy just said it's getting worse and worse.
Yeah. And there's many, and it's unfortunate because, I'm sitting here reading the chat and there's many people in positions that are going to be directly affected by this bill. Just literally directly affected. When we talk about, I brought up an example, just throwing it out there, of a single mom that has a child or two that may be disabled. It's a full-time gig getting the disabled child to and from appointments, to and from school, to and from whatever after-school activities, maybe to and from dad's house or to to mom's to watch. So now with these new added work requirements, being completely unfeasible for what is going to end up being hundreds of thousands, if not millions of Americans that are in these situations now. Not only that, but the federal food assistance and the malnutrition that may come, whether it be a slow roll or very quick. The people that aren't going to get the valued nutrition they need to sustain their lives. But again, going back to the single mom, you cannot make her work now 80 hours a month or whatever they're trying to make these people work. I mean, what job do you find that's going to allow you to work only 20 hours a week, right? And then how do you find the time? It's going to cost this mom extra money for childcare. It's going to be an exorbitant amount because the child is handicapped or has some other disability that requires extra care. So it's not just normal typical circumstances where somebody's babysitting a child. I mean, this is going to happen, and we're seeing it in the chat here. I mean, it's not far away. It's not like somebody in a far away state that you don't know it's going to happen. It's right here in the people in the chat that watch your show, that watch my show, are going to be directly affected by this. And it's chilling. It's depressing. It's angering. And like I've been saying on this show, if this isn't the moment where we decide to get the fuck out of our seats and get into the streets with signs, with bullhorns, with fucking whatever the hell we can use to get and garner attention to the plight of the American people, then we might as well just fucking sit back, shut our mouths, and let this fucking steamroller roll the fuck over us, because we're never going to stand up and fight if we don't stand up and fight at this moment in time now, where millions of Americans are being stripped of their health care, millions of Americans are being stripped of federal assistance as far as food assistance is concerned. So many other deadly things and dangerous things in this bill that we went over on the show in the last few days. So it's really angering. And again, fuck. It's ironic and again either further depressing that as we're trying to celebrate our independence and freedom, we are being stripped of our independence and freedom and rights by our own government.
So can I make a little bit of optimism here? And I think this is going to surprise people, right? Here's the flip. First of all, you're right? Here's what's incredible about this. You asked about how the Republican Party has changed. There is no way rural Republicans would have voted for this bill in 2019. No way. During a Biden presidency too, from 2020 to 2024, no way. They couldn't have voted for this. Why? Because rural red districts are Medicaid dependent. So the 5th District of Virginia, where I was, 7 of the 17 hospitals were actually federally. We had 7 of the 17 federally funded health centers were in my district alone, Brian. So what you're seeing is sort of this unraveling of the base. So the issue is crazy sometimes eats its own tail. And what you're saying, there's this frothing Project 2025 movement that underpins all of this. That frothing, ridiculous, weird movement of this weird, it's a cocktail of Christian nationalism, bizarre libertarianism, right? And a lack of understanding about economics. All that is what's, sort of come together. And I would say just a touch of racism and xenophobia, right? So all of that came into Project 2025. The issue that they have right now is this: what happens when their base starts to have grandma dying, or they can't put her in a home, or their kids can't get coverage, right? My kid was born on Medicaid when I was going through college in 1997, right? The military was sending me there, but my kid, I had Medicaid when I was going through college. Guess where I'm at? I'm in Virginia's 5th District. I went to Charlottesville, University of Virginia. So what you're going to see, if you're stripping healthcare benefits away from federally funded centers, their next step, I'm going to tell everybody, is going after the ACA. That'll happen in the next session. So I just want to I'm just doing a prediction right now. ACA is next because now they got this through. You're talking about the midterms in 26 is when people have to mobilize now. So it's time. You're right, Brian. It's time, because now the time could be ripe based on what the Republicans just did to their own base to maybe have a pretty large majority in 2026. That's what I see. Yes, carry signs, protest legally, do all that. But if there's a 2026 stay and the Republicans keep the majority in 2026, God help us in 2028. Lastly, 2020 and 2024 were not stolen elections. But you know how you steal election? You disenfranchise people up front. And what I need people to really pay attention to, Brian, pay attention to this, a national database being built of every single state. And if they actually, every state has a different way of electing their representatives and the president. All 50 states are different. But if they nationalize the database, right, for citizenship, that means you can disfranchise people and make them fight for their own citizenship. So the best way is not to go and it's not Dominion voting in 2020 or Starlink in 2024. Now's the way you do it, is disenfranchising voters up front, because that you can control. You're not going to have a huge conspiracy theory of 50 states and swing states changing votes. That just doesn't happen. That's ridiculous. But if you can control the front end, things change. And my biggest fear is that they've learned that lesson, and now they're trying to control the front end by possibly nationalizing a database for citizenship. And that's what people need to watch out for.
You're absolutely right. You're 100% right. And my hopes is that the GOP, are pushing themselves right into a blue wave, right? A tidal wave of people that are upset, frustrated, angry. I mean, we've seen the polling on this bill is utterly horrendous. The people don't want it. Man. The people don't care for it. But you spoke to the hypocrisy and the the disillusion and not living in reality. Like, does Lisa Murkowski, do these Republican senators, do these Republican congressmen and women, do they not think that they have people in their states that are going to be directly affected by these policies? I mean, Alaska must, and I know, has some poor areas. Some of the poorest areas in this country are in red states. The red states need the most federal funding, federal assistance. The blue states go to help the funding of the red states in this country. So why then would these people go directly against the best interests of their own constituents? It's beyond me. I don't think there really is an answer to that, but my hopes that
there's an answer.
This country directly towards a blue wave in the midterms because of the.
Oh, brother, I got an answer for you.
Hit me.
They do math, right, on fundraising and polling. And I keep going back to that. And I'm like, Denver, it's got to be more than that. No, it's only about winning. And here's the other thing, too. They honestly believe they can outlast Trump. They don't understand. They think this is just another up and down trend. And I don't know if they're lying to themselves, Brian. I don't know if it's something in their character or makeup, but that's number one. Number two is this. I was in Congress, and I need everybody to, Brian, I'm going to look right in the camera here. About 80% of the people who run are narcissistic sociopaths. There's a reason that some of these people are attracted to Congress. They have no other appreciable skills or talents. If it's somebody who made it big and they love the fact they're a multimillionaire, right, and now they can be a congressman and they can get the first reservations at the Capitol Grill or at Double Eagle,
right?
That makes them very happy, because the pin gives you complete control of Congress. Let me tell you how powerful. I have lifetime privileges for I can't be arrested for parking in DC, right? More or less. I just put my thing, right? So that's the only reason I ran, right? But then, so then you also have, right? I can always go on the floor of Congress. I can actually go on the floor of Congress and talk to people about stuff I want to do. It's not lobbying, but I'm a former congressman. I got lifetime privileges, guys. By the way, when you're actually elected, the Library of Congress belongs to you. The Capitol building belongs to you. Capitol Police belong to you. There's, even though you're only making $174,000, I say only, as you know, I'm putting that in quotes. Buddy, you can do whatever you want. I mean, you're a congressman.
You can steal City Hall. All the cops are into something. You ever see Die Hard with a Vengeance? Look around. All the cops are into something. You can steal City Hall.
You can steal. It's sort of true, right? And then and if you're in the majority, what other people need to know, the majority rules completely. So if you're like, oh my God, they're arresting Democratic congressional representatives and senators, it's ludicrous. The thing is, the majority, it owns it. And by the way, the majorities, Republicans and Democrats, and this is going to shock people, they make their own rules on how that 2 years goes for that specific Congress. Guys, it's not free up there. If you're a backbencher, if you're a freshman congressional representative, you don't go in there being worth $1 billion and it's your first elected office in the federal space, or you've worked up as a staffer, your job is to follow the rules. Your job is to follow like a sheep. And if you don't do that, you're kicked out of the stream unless you could become a media personality, right? Unless you could become, on the left, if you could become an AOC, right? That's how she protects herself as media. On the right, if you could become a Marjorie Taylor Greene or a Nancy Mace, they're insane. But that's how they do it, right? They're able to fundraise, right, to keep their positions and maybe to insulate themselves from leadership. So they're not the whim of either the National Republican Congressional Committee or the DTRIP, the Democratic Congressional Committee, right? So those are all the things that you have to take into account. This is not normal. Congress is insane. Congress is like it's like Toddlerville for adults. It's this transactional milk money for milk duds. I mean, that's what you're doing in Congress, and it's only about winning your specific contest in the next term. It is not about your constituents and what gets you elected, not about what happens as the Constitution as a whole. I hate to be that straight up, but that's life, and that's what happens in Congress.
Well, I appreciate your insight. I guess just before you go, I'd like to just get your thoughts on
Whose
what will
birthday is it,
be.
Brian? Whose birthday
We're
is
gonna,
it?
it is my buddy's, the unfortunate altar boy that we saw earlier.
Oh, I
So,
see. Okay. Oh, gotcha.
so
Gotcha. Happy birthday.
after we're done with our interview here, I will be using my non-vocal skills to sing "Happy Birthday" to one said chatter. But I just kind of wanted to get your take before I go on two things. One, we could probably save that to the end, where you think the war in Ukraine is going and where that's going to end up. But firstly, I just kind of wanted to get your short take on what you think of what ICE is doing inside the United States and what we could possibly see as an influx of what's happening because of the new federal funding in the bill for Border Patrol and ICE. I mean, now what they're doing now with whatever their budget is now, I mean, if we add $20 billion onto the federal budget for ICE, I can only imagine what damage that they can enact on brown people all over this country.
Well, first of all, Brian, Republicans are all about less spending, right? Aren't they the fiscally responsible party?
Right.
Why?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
a little
That's what I've
sarcasm. I
heard.
hope.
That's what I've heard.
Have you heard? Yeah, you've heard that.
So
Here's the thing.
but the defense budget isn't telling me that, and now this bill adding what is it, $2.5 trillion to the deficit is the opposite of.
I think it's 4, buddy.
Yeah, it might even be more than that. That's my
Yeah.
conservative take on that.
Go ahead. The conservative take.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. If ICE's budget is bigger than other defense budgets down, it's just pretty crazy, right? And that's really what's nuts here, right? Is we have a budget for a domestic, let's say, border system that's bigger than most defense budgets around the world. I just want people to sort of just embrace that for a second.
Absolutely. That's a great comparison. I mean, to compare that to defense and military spending from other countries around the world, I mean, that is its own military in a sense now that we have
that's right.
Put that much funding in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not, the thing is that for me, there is a little bit of complication because as a DOD guy, as somebody who is into counterterrorism, I understand the need for a secure border. Mm-hmm. That being said, if you have somebody making a decision, there has to be nuance, right? There has to be. It's just sort of like DOGE, right? That everybody's like, well, the government has to be more efficient. Yeah, but you don't want Elon Musk running that and a bunch of 20-year-olds who are nuts, right? Yeah, right. There's got to be nuance. Instead of DOGE, it probably should be GRACE, like government realignment for accountability, competence, and excellence, right? Where it's people using nuance and looking at the right parts of government and doing it in a way that has empathy and compassion to people that are working in the government. That's how we should work. It shouldn't be taking delight in people losing their jobs and calling them libtards or saying that they're just teat suckers and all the stuff that the far right did on it. When you talk about ICE, people are like, well, ICE does serve a function, right? ICE and HSI and stuff like that. Sure. The issue that you have is you have people who value delusion and conspiracy theories over fact. There's not this huge crime wave of illegal immigrants. There's no invasion. It's just ridiculous. It's ludicrous. It doesn't make sense. We shouldn't have a country building alligator Alcatraz. We shouldn't have a country delighting in the torture or hurting of other people. That should not be our American values. And I think, and we shouldn't have people like Stephen Miller running something like that, right? Or somebody like Kristi Noem, right? Mm-hmm. We shouldn't have people that are fantasists and xenophobes running this and saying some of the worst things, right? Or the Laura Loomers of the world actually saying 65 million people should be put away. Well, there's 65 million Hispanics in the world, right? So in the country. So she's talking literally about brown people. And,
listen, do you know they're all going around? You know what weapon they're all going around with? I mean, you
You'll
should
have
know
a
what
group
weapon they're all
of
going around with.
Venezuelan killers, street gangs, occupying the town with MK-47s. I know that gun very well. I got to know it very well. I've become an expert on guns.
Sorry. Had to pop that in there.
Yeah, the MK-47s, man.
But it goes to what you're saying, though. We have not seen this mass roundup of illegal aliens coming in that have been militarized in a way that have weapons to wage war against the United States. Tom Homan has not managed to round these people up, if they exist, which again we don't believe they do, and people with a brain don't believe they do either. Which is why we've seen ICE go into Home Depot parking lots. Which is why we've seen them chase single immigrants across fields in California, the ones that are just trying to pick, the food and vegetables and fruit that we eat and, survive on. That's why we've seen the father of 3 Marines get punched in the face on the ground by ICE agents. That's why we've seen pregnant U.S. citizens, women, get arrested and detained by ICE. But we have not seen this mass roundup. We have not seen this huge roundup of criminals, of gangsters, of militants from other countries that have come here as an invasion force. So, I mean, it just goes along the lines to what you're saying, that it's ridiculous to if you actually look at who's being rounded up, who's being deported, where they're being sent, and what crimes they've committed. I think it's a very high percentage, if not the vast majority, have not committed any crimes, let alone murder, rape, or anything like that. So,
well, listen, if a party that claims to be Christian delights in the dehumanization and the torture or the pain of others, I don't know how Christian you can call that party. Right. And I think the second thing is this. Are we really spending this kind of money for a problem that's mostly made up? And the third thing, are we really spending this type of money to destroy some of the foundational farming and rural districts and the labor that they have in those districts? Because literally, there's not a lot of Americans that would even do those jobs that are born in America. And lastly, do we really think that Trump is lying when he says he wants to denaturalize people that are already citizens? Right? If they were to commit a crime or to do something against what he likes, do we think that he's lying? No. So whenever you see somebody who's delusional make a decision, that means they're already three divisions down the road. There are already 3 decisions down the road to do something worse. And I've been trying to warn people that what you're seeing out front, as bad as it is, it's much worse what's being planned over the next year or 2. So that's why I say, 2026 midterms, Brian, people need to make that decision that they're going to get off their rear parts and be part of this process. Because if you're not, right, you're done. Because if you're not at the dinner table, right, you will be eaten. And I've told people this, my God, it is here. It's not tomorrow, it is here. So how about get involved and confront everybody who comes up to you and lies? There's no reason to give them any type of high ground. I had a friend the other day came up to me and was talking about some bizarre stuff, with the space program that was conspiracy theories. And I actually had to say, brother, I love you, but you're a dumbass. And I think that's what has to happen, right? You have to have the ability to confront with arguments that highlight their dumbassery in a way that's evident immediately. Don't let them own the room. Don't let them lie to you. And don't let them use fantasy to prove anything to you.
All right, and I know I got you a little bit over time, and I appreciate all the time you've taken out to spend with me and in the chat.
Of course.
We really do appreciate your insights, your honesty, your humor. So just lastly, just as you're kind of going out, I want to play this clip to kind of give an example of the types of things that not only are Ukrainians going through, but what people like yourself and fine people like Ken Habar and others, Maddie, the photographer, who are, exposing themselves to on the front lines in Ukraine to make sure that they get these shots, to make sure that people know exactly what's going on, to people so the Ukrainians know that there are people all around the world that do support them in their fight. So I just want to play this short clip, and then I just want to kind of get your last kind of final thoughts on where you think the war in Ukraine is going, and how you think it's going to end up, really. You know what I mean? So I just want to play this real quick for these guys. And just to set up, you want to set it up, my man?
Yeah, I'll set it up. This is Odessa. This is probably 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I was up in my hotel room. I was coming down. Ken was actually coming in. So as Ken's coming in, I hear the sirens and the drones. Now, by the way, a drone, you can hear them. The drone that went over our hotel literally probably was 100 feet over our hotel. It was that loud. Then I heard multiple drones and explosions. By the way, an explosion within sight outside of my window. Like maybe I should close my window. At that point, Ken's banging on my door because he had just taken this film out front. He's like, Denver, we're under attack.
All right, so I'm going to play this clip here. This is just one of the most like hair-raising, spine-tingling sounds that I've ever heard. I was unfortunate enough to hear the air raid sirens all throughout Ukraine, but I was fortunate enough not to hear the secondary sound of the incoming drone or the anti-aircraft or anti-drone fire to take place. So this is basically what was going on deeper inside Ukraine. Denver and Ken exposing themselves to the fire. Here, just take a look at this, just to get a little sense of what's going on.
So you can hear the drones.
They just get louder and louder.
So coming in from the left, you're going to see a salvo of missiles, which means the drones are really coming. See that right there? All that? Yep. That's when Ken said, we got to get the hell out of here.
Yeah, you can hear him just at the end. We got to go. He says, yeah, I don't know I can pick him up. I was laughing when I heard that because he was like, yeah, wait, I think it's time.
Yeah, you're looking.
You can look at that. Hear him, yeah, let's go. But I mean, the sound of the drones,
they're right there.
It almost relates to the sirens that were put on the German Luftwaffe aircraft, right? The dive bombers, right? And how effective those sirens were. And just like in the mental aspects of the people that were hearing them, like they didn't even have to drop munitions. Sometimes just the act of diving with the siren alone was enough to scare people into, sometimes that shell shock state. So this is kind of that same. It gives off a similar sound, and I can't believe I'm blanking. The Stukas on the Stuka dive bomber.
No, the Stukas. That's right, the dive bombers. And by the way, I was at a barber shop the other day, and they had a razor. I'm like, oh, that sounds like an FPV drone. Like that's what.
Yeah, a little like, flashback.
Damn.
Little flashback.
A little flashback, man. Here I am, a former military guy, and the guy goes, and it's coming up on my ear, man. I'm like, oh shit, that sounds like an FPV. That's pretty first-person view drone or kamikaze drone for people out there. So, but yeah, what do I think is going to happen? I think if we withhold aid too long, I think I'm going to give you a worst case. The Ukrainian government will run out Zelensky because he will refuse to concede. They'll call for new elections. At that point, Russia will stop attacking. As the new elections happen, you're probably going to get somebody who's more Russia inclined. Then you'll see a brokered peace with Russia keeping most of the actual captured property, 18 to 20% of Ukraine. At that point, we've pretty much lost. America has withdrawn. It will take us decades to get our, I would say, our profile back or the trust of other countries. I think NATO will start to splinter. That's worst case. Middle of the road, Zelensky says, hey, maybe we do a brokered peace. They broker peace, Donetsk, and make sure Crimea becomes a permanent part of Russia, which Putin wants. If Zelensky approves that, he will be beat anyway. He will probably have to give himself up in the next parliamentary elections in order for that to happen. Best case is for us to continue aid, or EU comes off the top rope. It continues to be a stalemate and you bleed Russia out. I would say best case alpha is that we come in all the way and we push Russia out of Crimea and out of Donetsk, out of the right bank of Kherson. And we actually force them to actually just a ceasefire based on absolutely being destroyed. I don't think that one happens. I think it's somewhere between Zelensky doing a peace deal where he has to sacrifice the next elections, or he's actually run out if we don't help them, or if the EU stops. So it's really up to the EU right now, I think, to help Ukraine and everything they can, unless there's some kind of miracle where somebody sane gets in Trump's ear. But the thing is, if Trump's going to be building a tower in Russia, or he has some business interests that are aligned with Russia, it's going to be very difficult for us to have anything, right, that's really true U.S. policy if this actually benefits Trump somehow. So I don't know, right, on that, but I got a feeling that something benefits Trump everywhere. But I think right now we're looking between a brokered peace or the EU coming in and trying to stalemate this long enough for a new president. But that's very difficult to say. Hope that helps people.
Well, Denver, again, I appreciate your time so much. I appreciate your insights. Thank you for what you're doing. Can you let everybody in the chat know, and everybody that may watch this at a later date, where they can find you if you're streaming, if you have Substack,
Oh,
anything
yeah.
like that, your socials?
Well, I got a great show, Truth in the Barrel with Amy McGrath. I don't know if you know her, the former F-18 fighter
Yep.
pilot, ran
Yep.
against Mitch McConnell and Andy Barr in Kentucky. We have you guys should look up the show Truth in the Barrel. It is fantastic. Much bigger pod right now, but we're trying to grow our YouTube audience, things like that. Then you have my special little thing that I do, Denver After Dark. That is actually growing pretty fast on YouTube. I need to learn from you, Brian, with the other socials. I know social media, but I've always been sort of reluctant to really go all in. But I think probably going to try to get a TikTok.
I really appreciate you not tagging me in the link to the show. I appreciate.
I could believe I said, dude, I forgot to tag you because I'm such a brilliant intelligence officer.
No, I'm only kidding. My chat will laugh at this and very much relate my tech inabilities and insufficiencies. And definitely, I am not one to talk.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
I appreciate you. I would definitely advise everybody in the chat, anybody watching this at a later date, to check out Denver, his socials, Denver After Dark, all of his work that he's doing with Amy McGrath. Definitely somebody that I recommend following, watching, listening to. Some good insight. Fabulous individual. I was honored to get the pleasure to meet him again in Ukraine. It's an honor to talk to you again here. And just before you go, we do have something I'd like to play as a message to Donald Trump and the Republicans that passed this demonstratively destructive bill. So just before you go, we got this.
You got it.
This is the Donald Trump.
Or go fuck yourself.
All right. All right, Denver, my man. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. You are more than welcome on the podcast anytime you want or need. If you have something to promote, if you have any special insights, or if you just want to chat, feel free to shoot me a message, and I would be more than happy to have you. Or vice versa,
honor,
if you need somebody on your shows, if you need a guest, if you want somebody with a Boston accent that just supports Ukraine outright.
I got you, brother. You're coming on, man.
All right, buddy. I appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much, my man. I do appreciate you. Thank you to the chat. Let's say thank you to Denver one last time. Appreciate
you guys.
Have a
great
day.
audience. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, bud. All right, my guys. Denver Riggleman. I appreciate him for joining the podcast. What a fantastic guy. He's done so much, seen so much. Again, has so much insight into these things. Hold on. I don't want to do that. I almost banned him from the studio. That's not what I want to do. I just want to do that. All right. So, yeah, a lot of insights that could directly not only relate to, but also impact what's going on in today. Unfortunately, as I was speaking to him, we did have let's see here. I'm going to do a refresh here. See if here we go. 17 minutes ago, 13 minutes ago. Here we go. So I'll just show this to you guys just because obviously the news requires it. But here, let me give it to you this way so you can see that the Congress passes Trump's sweeping domestic policy bill. This is the live update coming from CNN at least. It says what we're covering. The House voted to approve President Donald Trump's massive package of tax and federal spending cuts, clearing the bill to be sent to the president's desk for his signature. It follows a fierce arm-twisting campaign by GOP leaders to unite a deeply divided party behind his sweeping domestic agenda. Jeffries, which we'll take a look at just a little bit of his several-hour speech he did to delay the voting on this. But yes, he broke the modern-day record for the longest House floor speech using his magic minute to speak for hours. I believe it was something like 8 or 9 hours. If it was more than that, I'm sorry, but that's the last that I saw. Against the bill and drawing out debate on the package. The multi-trillion-dollar bill would unlock tax cuts and funding boosts for national security, partly paid for by the largest cut to federal safety net in decades. You can see more of what's in the bill in there. We have gone over it on the show. Much of it is destructive. Much of it is harmful. Much of it will directly go to kill United States citizens in multiple different ways. So yeah, unfortunate news that we see here. Our own government working against us. I know the chat hasn't indeed expressing their frustrations. And again, relating this to how ironic it is that we now are on the, just days before July 4th, where we're supposed to be, as a country, celebrating our independence, our freedom from tyranny, our freedom from kings, our freedom from just oppression, only to have the most destructive and sweeping legislation that goes to harm United States citizens to be passed on that same occasion. So if that irony does not hit you in the face, then I don't know how else to explain it to you. I really don't. But just, I guess I could try one more time, ladies and gentlemen. As we are now approaching the celebration of the independence and freedom and sovereignty of this country, freedom from tyranny, freedom from kings, freedom from oppression. We now have the United States government passing legislation, the most harmful legislation to be ever passed, that will go to directly affect millions and millions of Americans in a negative way, and will actually directly help or directly go or directly make sure that Americans die in this country. Americans don't get the food assistance they need in this country. Americans get charged more on their taxes when they're poor, and if you're rich, you get a little bit more back, or you get a little bit of a break. If you needed a new wheelchair and you need some federal assistance, you need some sort of funding that you use in order to get those expensive wheelchairs, sorry, right? If you're like a lot, my dad says, apparently I'm free from my benefits now. Yeah, but I guarantee at some point, somewhere down the line, this will have some impacts. And I don't know I don't know if you're out there willing to get out there and start bagging groceries again in order to meet the work requirements to continue to get the aid and help that you need and deserve because of injuries, health concerns, that type of thing. Again, people with disabled children, people with disabled partners, the list goes on and on. We heard AOC here. This is worth playing again, right? I know I saved it in here for some reason. Let's see here. Did I not save it? I must have. Oh, here you go. So let me bring this up for you guys.
2 minutes.
Thank you. And I thank the chairman. President Trump had issued some statements throughout this process saying and urging, insisting that this bill does not cut Medicaid. He's also said some things, he says he doesn't think I'm too much of a smart person. And I'll tell you one thing. It doesn't take a smart person to know if you're being lied to. All right. President Trump, you're either being lied to or you are lying to the American people. Because this bill represents, in the text of this bill, the largest and greatest loss of health care in American history. 17 million Americans will lose their health care on this bill, not undocumented people, not quote unquote the disgusting term illegal, but 17 million Americans will have their health care cut from this bill. On this point of tax on tips, as one of the only people in this body who has lived off of tips, I want to tell you a little bit about the scam of that text, a little bit of the fine print there. The cap on that is $25,000. While you're jacking up taxes on people who make less than $50,000 across the United States, while taking away their SNAP, while taking away their Medicaid, while kicking them off of the ACA and their health care extensions. So if you're at home and you're living off tips, you do the math. Is that worth it to you? Losing all your health care, not able to feed your babies, not being able to put a diaper on their bottom in exchange for what? This bill is a deal with the devil. It explodes our national debt. It militarizes our entire economy, and it strips away healthcare and basic dignity of the American people. For what? To give Elon Musk a tax break and billionaires the greedy taking of our nation. We cannot stand for it, and we will not support it. You should be ashamed.
Well, strong words and correct words and factual words from AOC. Unfortunately, falling on deaf ears as far as the Republicans are concerned. We are now being directly oppressed by our own government while it's being celebrated by them. So, and I'm amazed here. I'm kind of taken aback a little bit at how many people in this chat, in this small community here that we've built, are being directly impacted, being directly affected by this. Oh, and before I forget, let me see here. Let me see. To Tom. I want to make sure I get Tom his birthday wishes here. Let's see here. I'm not much for singing, so let's see if I can get some happy birthday music. Does this work? Let's see here. That looks too kiddish. Maybe this one? Let's see how this one. Let me see.
Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
All right. Sorry. Happy birthday, Tom. I appreciate you. I'm sorry that we have such shitty news and such a shitty government on your birthday with that other news that we have to report. But I do hope you have a happy birthday, my friend. I hope you get all the assistance, all the people supporting you that you deserve and need. And if you ever need anything, don't hesitate to reach out, please. My email is always available. I am not always the best at getting back to people. I want to let Michael Irish know that I did get your message, my friend. I did receive your email. I do appreciate that. I do have a few questions about it. But yeah, if you ever need anything, need somebody to talk to, if you feel alone, if you're feeling depressed, if you need somebody to just shoot the shit with, whatever, if you're ever down or lonely, then, maybe I'll shoot you a link into one of our Zooms. You come hang out, join the crew, join the fam. I don't know. We'll see what we could do. But I appreciate you guys. We're still working towards our goal on YouTube. I don't know what that means. I just saw that you could set a goal. So I set a goal. I figure if we hit the goal, I will do a show that you guys actually pick the content, right? So with the emails that you guys send in, any clips that you guys send in, any content that you want me to cover, whether it be political, whether it be, basically, I don't know what you call it, YouTube based, where, it's just kind of like pop culture type of stuff, whatever you guys want to do. If we hit the goal, I think it's 20 on there. And again, fucking Pierre, holy shit, I keep forgetting, man. That is unbelievable. Pierre, you are just one amazing fellow, my dude. I cannot believe the contribution and support that you've shown, not only me, but on the humanitarian aid mission as well. You were just, if anybody was saying that they were going to put in some assistance somewhere, then you were there to either double it or match it. It was really, really fantastic to see, and it's a real honor. It's separate from the contributions to be able to say that I met you, that I've worked with you, and that that you watched the show. I appreciate that. I really do. And anybody else that was on the humanitarian aid convoy to Ukraine that is tuning into this show, I know I sent you guys the link that Denver was going to be on. So if it's Duke, if it's Rich, You know, whether it's Matt, whether it's Harry, whether it's, you know, Harrison, the whole crew. There's about literally 35 or 40 of them. Ian, all you guys are just fantastic and beautiful souls, and I appreciate you tuning in if you are. So thank you, Bicycle Mike, as well. I want to join you in a march on Friday. I think Mel and I are discussing that. I don't know if she's put it in the chat yet, but we have been discussing attending, obviously, said march. But I don't know if that's been finalized as of yet. But yeah, I'm dying to get the hell out there. I'm dying to use, where is it? Hold on. It's around here somewhere. It's got to be around here. I see it. One sec. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm fucking ready. I was fucking born fucking ready. So if you don't think I'm fucking ready to get my ass out there and protest, you got another thing coming. This fucking mouth was born to talk. And this thing was fucking made to make this voice louder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my fucking voice out there. And I'm going to get my opinions to make sure they're out there and louder and make sure people are marching and chanting and fucking screaming and yelling. And that's what I'm going to do. So, yes, I am very much hoping to get my fucking ass out to a march very soon to make sure that my voice is heard in this country. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. I'm knocking everything over. All right, so I don't know if you heard any of that, but yes, I am very much ready to get the fuck out and mobilize. Definitely. I'm actually calling on everybody in this chat and everybody that watches this at a later date to do the same thing. So, Bicycle Mike, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Moms is out there. I've got a hey, that's what she said. Hey, just kidding. I'll be interviewing folks again tomorrow. Please, if you got any footage of that, if it's going to be recorded or taped or anything like that, moms, send me a clip or, you know, send me the footage, send me the interview. I'd be happy to play it on the show or, you know, whatever you'd like. My dad says I don't need the bullhorn. I don't need the bullhorn. You're right. But unfortunately, when you get a crowd of like 100,000, 200,000 people, you know, sometimes it's necessary. But I appreciate you, bud. I appreciate you. All right. So let's see if we can. I'm going to get rid of this. Yeah, I'll get rid of the Congress updates. We talked about Ukraine withholding. Let's talk about this right here. Let's take a look at this since it ties right into Denver being on the show, our trip to Ukraine, the humanitarian aid mission, in the need for assistance in Ukraine, because I know everybody's steaming and fuming right now over the bill that was just passed. But unfortunately, not much that we can do about it at this point until we get to our rallies, until we get to our marches. I'm trying to equalize and balance our coverage as best as possible. Because like I said, I know you guys are fuming. I know you guys are mad. I know you're angry. I know you're affected by this. I really do. I promise I truly do. People in my own family are going to be directly affected by this. So, but I just want to make sure that we're not kind of steaming in our own stew and you know, not coming up with any solutions. Let's make sure that we at some point try to make sure we focus our time and attention on other things that we may be able to enact some change in. Again, I apologize. I'm sorry that I have to be on here to cover and report the news of the bill passing. But that's just kind of how the cookie crumbled at this point. Again, my heartfelt apologies and best wishes go out to the people that are going to be directly affected by this, whether in the chat here, the Bryantologist, or in other chats. People all over this country, family members, grandmothers, grandparents, fathers, uncles, disabled cousins, you know, the whole range of people that are going to be affected by this. The list is pretty much endless. Oh, thank you, Rox. Appreciate that. Eagle shit. Love to the lobsters. Thank you, Rox. I appreciate that. Tiff says, Brian, Wall does look incredible. I think Mel did a fantastic job. I think it looks fantastic. My problem right now is I think I hit this light, which is showing. So I kind of have to move that back. Because I don't like how it's, where is it? See how that right there? But that's my fault. That's my fault. I think I can move this forward. There you go. That's how we do that. But yes, thank you, Mel, for all the work that you've done. Thank you for setting up the background. It looks incredible. I hope the lighting looks okay as well for you guys. We do have our new internet coming this weekend. So hopefully for the Sunday show, I'm hoping that we get everything kind of up and running the way that it's going to be for this show to continue. So we can stop the video lags and the dropping of the internet, that type of stuff. So we're going the extra mile. We really are investing in the show to make sure that you guys get the best content, the best quality content that we could possibly produce here. So I appreciate it. I just want to dive into this just a little bit. You're welcome, Mel. I appreciate it. I really do. I've seen a lot of people comment on it. I've seen a lot of people appreciate the background, and I like that it's not a green screen anymore. I like that it's just just this. I don't have to worry about a green screen and all that bullshit. But yeah, let's just get into a little bit of this article because Donald Trump had what I believe is his 6th phone call with Vladimir Putin since since he took office. Obviously, I don't think anything came of this. Just goes to show, Jesus Christ, look how fucking terrible he looks on this. Is there a way to fucking zoom on this? Holy Jesus. Look at this, guys. Take a look at that. Does that look like a healthy individual? Mel says I need to hide that megaphone better. That says, dude, you're in Cali. Stop wearing long sleeve. Mel's got the fucking air conditioner on, I don't know, Antarctica in here. So it's necessary at sometimes. I do have to strip down when I go outside, though. Praying for that blood clot. Anyways, all right. This is an Axios article that came out just after his phone call with Putin. I think it just kind of gives us a little insight into what they spoke about, what may or may not have come from the phone call, what weakness Donald Trump portrayed. So let's just get into this a little bit. President Trump spoke on Thursday for more than an hour with Russian President Vladimir Putin and discussed the war in Ukraine and what the Kremlin described as the Iranian issue. The call took place amid a stalemate in Trump's efforts to end the war between Russia and Ukraine, and 2 days after the U.S. paused weapon shipments to the Ukrainian army, which we covered on this show. We talked about that at length. I believe it was yesterday's show, and how the Pentagon was describing their stockpiles as depleted, using that as the excuse, the justification for not allowing these weapons that were already promised by Biden's administration to go on and be delivered to Ukraine. Let's see. Putin's foreign policy advisor, Yuri Ushakov, said the issue didn't come up during the call between Putin and Trump. So there's a huge point right there. So 2 days after the United States pauses weapon shipments to Ukraine, right, amidst what is an escalation in attacks by Russia, by Vladimir Putin. And that is not discussed at all during an hour-long phone call between these two. It's strange that Putin wouldn't bring it up. It's strange that Trump wouldn't say, hey, we stopped these shipments, maybe kind of give us a little bit back in return. Didn't even try to use that as leverage at all, right? I don't agree with the move, obviously, but it's even stupider to try to use that as leverage in a phone call with the guy that's actively committing atrocities in Ukraine. Driving the news, Ushakov told reporters that Putin and Trump had a, quote, detailed discussion about Iran and the situation in the Middle East. How about we focus on what's fucking going on in Ukraine and what he's doing in Ukraine and how many Ukrainians he's killing and how many drones and missiles and soldiers he's sending into Ukraine. Why don't we stick to that, right? Maybe we can deal with fucking Vladimir Putin's opinions on what he thinks about Iran and the Iranian issue at a later fucking date, Don. How about that? What do you say we push that one off to the back burners and focus on the fucking drones and missiles that are killing people night after night? That might be something we could fucking focus on. That might be a starting point to think about, right? Nobody gives a fuck about the weather. Nobody gives a fuck about, what fucking Vladimir had for fucking dinner. Nobody gives a shit about his thoughts on fucking Iran at this moment. Focus on the problem at hand, the issue at hand. Focus on the people that are dying right the fuck now. But he's fucking incompetent. He doesn't know how to negotiate. He doesn't know how to lead. He doesn't know how to be a fucking a governor. You know, he doesn't know how to govern. He's fucking useless. Useless. And even when he does stupid shit that he could use as leverage or could use as a little fucking carrot, right? A little stick, a little carrot for Putin. Say, hey, listen, these weapons were already fucking promised by the Biden administration. We have now since stopped that weapon shipment. How about you, I don't know, maybe take soldiers out of this region? Or how about you, I don't know, for 2 months or a week or 2 weeks, don't send drones into fucking Ukraine. Like, get something in return for your fucking treasonous actions, right? You stupid prick. He added that Putin stressed the Iranian issue must be settled through only diplomacy. Ushakov and Trump stressed during the call that he wants to end the war between Russia and Ukraine swiftly. Okay, how? How are you doing so? What in this phone call tells me that you are driving home at the point, at the mission, at the goal of ending the war in Ukraine? What in this phone call? Putin told Trump that Russia is not going to give up on its goals in Ukraine, Ushakov said, and added Russia sees its peace talks with Ukraine as a bilateral issue that the U.S. shouldn't be actively involved in. Right? So he's getting fucking stonewalled. Donald Trump is getting stonewalled and slapped in the fucking face and kicked in the dick at every turn by Vladimir Putin in this situation. And at no point does he try to use any leverage, any strong rhetoric, any fucking strong man, alpha man fucking terms to try to get what he thinks or what should happen as far as Russia getting the fuck out of Ukraine, dropping their weapons where they lie, getting the fuck out of their tanks where they stand, and walking their ass back to the nearest fucking Russian border is what should happen. But nowhere have I seen in this, admittedly short article that we've read to see that he in any way stressed or put pressure on or used carrots and sticks or fucking in any way tried to strong arm Vladimir Putin into ending this fucking war. Ukrainian officials said Volodymyr Zelensky is scheduled to speak with Trump on Friday to discuss the pause of weapon shipments. Again, more time taken out of Volodymyr Zelensky Day that is fucking needed to be spent elsewhere. More useless time that he has to be spent talking to fucking Putin. I mean, talking to Trump. A little fucking slip up there that may have been true. But talking to Trump to get nothing done, nothing accomplished, only so he can try to secure weapons that were already promised and secured by Biden. So the man's in a full-scale war, and we're going to take his fucking time up to come talk about weapon shipments that were already supposed to have been delivered. So again, the fucking reckless nature, the incompetency at which Donald Trump is approaching this fucking battle in this situation is again putting further strain on Zelensky, further strain on the Ukrainian military, further strain on the Ukrainian citizens. And Vladimir Putin, again, is spitting right in Donald Trump's mouth and kicking him right in the dick. And Donald Trump is just like, oh, give it to me, buddy. Give it to me. I love it, Vladdy. More of that, Vladdy. Give it to me, daddy, Vladdy, daddy. Right? One's daddy, one's Vladdy. And they're both fucking losers. So, yeah, I thought I had something. Yeah, you know what? I do have something. For
go fuck yourself.
Yeah, pricks. All right, let's just see. This just goes on to talk about the passing of Trump's shitty, moldy, disgusting, decrepit bill, where snap cuts in Trump's big shitty bill could hit America's hardest. This is a good depiction.
Sorry, I added a goal.
Well, hold on. The producer's here. Hold on. Time out. Producer talk. All right, so it has just been announced by my on-site producer. Do you have a Coke by any chance? It's off. Go ahead, one more try.
Get your own fucking Coke.
It has just been announced by my producer that she has set a new goal in which any 10 super chats of any amount will then get you guys to get me and in fact to do a Zoom in which you YouTube members can join into. How about that? Sounds like a good idea. That sounds like a good idea. We haven't done that before. So any 10 super chats, I guess, from this point only. I'm not too apt on the goals and how that works. But I guess any 10 super chats now, if we get 10 super chats, we'll be doing a Zoom that the YouTube people can join into. That would be cool. Yeah, it'd be like a Friendsgiving. Like a Friendsgiving type thing. Right? And we can all yell and scream and bitch about how angry and pissed off we are at the United States government. I appreciate it, Mel. Thank you so much. Good idea. But this is just a little map that I wanted to show you guys of who's going to be affected the most by this. And you can see, ultimately, estimated share of population who participate in SNAP. So the highest, Massachusetts has a pretty high rate. Pennsylvania has a pretty high rate. New Mexico, Nevada, Oregon, Oklahoma, Louisiana, all of these are in pretty red. What's this one? West Virginia. I mean, just 10.4% of the population in Colorado participates in SNAP. 10.5% of Missouri, 15% of Illinois, 11% of Wisconsin, almost 12%. 15% of Pennsylvania, 15% in Massachusetts, almost 12% in Maine. New York's got 15%, Vermont 10%, West Virginia 15%, Florida 17% of Louisiana residents participate in SNAP. 17 again in Oklahoma. Almost 22% of people in New Mexico participate in SNAP. That's a wild stat. 15 in Nevada, 18 in Oregon, 11 in Washington, 14 here in California. 11 in Hawaii. So we get the picture here. We can see that this is going to affect lots and lots and lots of people, right? People that live in the states. Oh, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you, dude. Very nice of you. Not only here showing his time, giving his time as a mod, dropping links, making sure people are informed, keeping the chat safe, but also here contributing to the show. What a fucking awesome guy you are. Appreciate you, Mark. Really do. Yeah, highlighting exactly how many people are going to be affected, right? I mean, it's not very hard to see. This whole fucking country is pretty red as far as in terms of the this map is concerned. I think it looks like here Wyoming has the lowest at 4.7. But just think of how many people, if 15% of the population, or about 3 million people in New York, right? A little over 1 million in Massachusetts. About 500,000 in New Mexico, almost 1 million in Louisiana, almost 1 million in Oklahoma, 500,000 in Nevada, 750,000 in Oregon. I mean, we're talking shitloads of people here. 1.6 million people in Georgia, 1.5 million people in North Carolina, almost 1 million in Maryland, Delaware. Got almost 115,000 people, 275,000 in West Virginia. And again, now with what? Now going to have to participate in further work requirements, further fucking hoops that they're going to have to jump through in order to get these benefits. Right, General Putnam. That's a good thing. Arkansas, Indiana, North and South Dakotas, Wyoming, etc. have 2 senators, but fewer residents than Los Angeles does on the whole. Facts. Thank you, Noah Des. Let's fucking go, guys. I appreciate you. We're trying to get to our goal of 10. I think Mel's keeping track because I've lost count already. JD, thank you so much. And it can be a super chat of any amount. Does not have to be any specific amount. Whatever you guys feel like you're willing to help and donate to the channel. There's also Venmo up there as well. Sorry, I'm not on the board. I totally forgot about that. There's also in the corner over there somewhere, there's a Venmo you can take a picture of. I also have a PayPal in case you have PayPal. Again, you don't have to participate in these things. I'm just saying these are available if you have any one of these mediums in order, and the financial ability to donate to the show, because that's a big thing too. Let's see here. JD left off. Let's go, Rosanna. We are the resistance. She says 9 months being a member. Let's go. I think we get an update on the chat here. What do we got?
I have an update, but it's not about that. People have requested that you pronounce Oregon the correct way.
What does that mean?
How do you say it?
Oregon.
It's Oregon.
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 I'm not changing anything. People can fuck off. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if you like what I say, how I say it. I don't give a shit because it's Oregon and it's going to fucking stay Oregon. How about that? Thank you, moms. Appreciate you. Family Zoom. Let's go. Little Bryantologist. That's what we could. It's going to be the Church of Bryantology is going to have their first congressional meeting. How about that? We're gonna convene in the Church of Bryantology. We're gonna have our first service. I will be leading said service as the leader of the Church of Bryantology here, with all the Bryantologists that will show up on buses in white collared shirts with probably white Reeboks on, or were they Nikes? I forget. I forget. Oh, thank you, Libby G. Let's go, Libby G. Fucking love you guys, Libby G. Appreciate you. Thank you for that $5 super sticker. I love that. Laurie! Let's go fucking Laurie. Thank you so much, Laurie. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate you contributing to the show. She says, I love the family we have here. And that is, that goes twice as much for me. I think you guys are fantastic. My dad says, we hear you, Mel. Oh, I love it. We're going to have to get her a mic. I actually have a second mic. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see here. My little bag of goodies. My little bag of tricks here. Come on, Mel. Come on, Mel. I got a mic for you. Come on. I'll set it up right now. We can do our own pod. We can do a double pod. I actually mentioned that to her. I mentioned that to her at some point. Oh, Christ.
I will guarantee you right now.
No way. That would be so entertaining.
No.
We could do it. We'll see what the chat says. We'll see in our family Zoom because we're definitely getting to 10 super chats. We're what, halfway there? I can't see that. I don't see that. What you're seeing. We need 2 more super chats to reach our goal, and then we're gonna have to find out a way how to set up this Zoom. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Mom says stickers don't count. Bullshit. I'm counting them.
It wouldn't let me count it.
Oh, really?
It says.
Oh, that's horrible. That's terrible. Thank you, Mark. Well, I feel bad for the same people trying to get me to the goal. Thank you, Mark. Oh, on behalf of Elizabeth, I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Tell Elizabeth I said hello. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I really do. Becky! Becky! Let's go, fucking Becky! She says you can say it however you want to. I love your accent. Thank you, Becky. Appreciate that. Thank you. Holy shit, Candy! Candy girl! You're all my world.
And there's the reason.
You're everything. You're everything. You're everything to me. Woo woo. Let's go, Candy. Fucking let's go. I'm crabby. Just take my money. She says, oh, I feel terrible. I hope I can at least put a smile on your face, or at least give you some reprieve, some relief from the craziness and insanity that is going on. But thank you so fucking much for that. Thank you. That is just fantastic. And I hope your day gets a little bit better. I really do. I hope some sunshine hits your face. Hope a little bit of money hits your pockets, that type of thing. But again, that's the opposite of what you said. But my apologies. But I hope you have a wonderful day, Candy. You know what I'm trying to say. Rosanna, let's go. You guys are fantastic. Unbelievable. Goal achieved. Dave Dog says, go. I had to. Let's go. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate that. So we'll set it up. We'll set up a little Zoom that we can do, and everybody can kind of hop in. I'm sure it's going to be chaotic because even the smaller Patreon Zooms we do, depending on how many people show up, can be a little chaotic, but it should be fun, should be interesting, and I appreciate you guys more than anything. I really do. Thank you so much for your time, your attention, your energy, your passion, your aggression, your action. Let's see. You need to see Roxanne. You don't have to put on that red light. I gotta warm up, Roxanne. You can't just throw me into the fire like that. That's not fair. That's not fair because I can do a little bit better. If I gotta warm up the folks. I gotta warm up. Noah Dez coming in with 5. Let's fucking go. But I appreciate you, Roxanne. Thank you so much. I'll work on it. Oh, thank you, Nodez. I appreciate you guys. We're getting a little funky in the end of the show here. The camera keeps flickering too. I don't know what that's all about because I'm not touching any wires. So I'm kind of curious to what that's all about. I think I need a new, not that you guys care, or I should be telling you, but I will. Think I need a new USB port thing where you can plug in a bunch of USB ports. I think mine's getting a little loose, she said. Thank you, Rosanna. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Lightfoot, MK, Lynn, Paula, Tiff for your services, Moms for everything, Becky for being here, Roxanne for being awesome, Dame for being the dog, Tobias for being incredible, Nick, what? Right. Okay. Yeah. So, all right. I love the live updates I get here from the crew. Zoom, good times. Yeah, so we should probably do like a poll or something that you guys can vote on, like certain times, during the day, or what day exactly, or what time during the week that you guys would rather do that, or what benefits you guys the most, or which the most amount of people can show up to. So maybe we'll do a poll that way. We can do it at a time where everybody, or at least the most people possible can hop in. All right. Yeah, let's see here. What else did I want to cover for today? Mel sent me this as well, another disturbing story. We've been covering the ongoing plight and battle of the the Palestinian people, the ongoing ethnic cleansing, genocide, etc. of by Bibi Netanyahu and Israel. And Mel was kind enough to send me this story. Let me see if I can open this, where U.S. contractors say their colleagues are firing live ammunition as Palestinians seek food in Gaza. That's not a misprint. That's not a headline that you are misreading. I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm going to replug in this camera for a second, but I'm going to put this big. You guys still should be able to hear me. Yeah, that is not a misprint or something that you're misreading there. That is a correct headline where contractors are actively saying that their colleagues are actively firing live ammunition as Palestinians seek food in Gaza. We reported on it, I believe, a week ago, I want to say, about how this was happening, how that they were actually going as far as to attract Palestinians to these areas, only to round them up in cages and in some cases shoot them dead on the spot. Let me see if I can find a better outlet here. All right, so that is, let me see if we can get into just a little bit of this story. Let me see if I can get my camera back first. It would be unbelievable. Put that on the stage. How you doing, guys? I'm back. How are you? All right, let's get into just a little bit of this, okay? Because I think it's very important to stay up to date, to stay, on mission, as far as, being the most informed you possibly can about what's going on around the world and the atrocities that are taking place. So American contractors guarding aid distribution sites in Gaza are using live ammunition and stun grenades as hungry Palestinians scramble for food, according to accounts and videos obtained by the Associated Press. 2 U.S. contractors speaking to the AP on conditions of anonymity because they were revealing their employers' internal operations said they were coming forward because they were disturbed by what they considered dangerous and irresponsible practices. They said the security staff hired were often unqualified, unvetted, heavily armed, and seemed to have an open license to do whatever they wished. They said their colleagues regularly lobbed stun grenades and pepper spray in the direction of Palestinians. One contractor said bullets were fired in all directions, in the air, into the ground, at the time towards the Palestinians, recalling at least one instance where he thought someone had been hit. This is, again, I'm assuming one of the videos depicting that. This, again, a situation so that people can get food. This is Palestinians just doing whatever they fucking can amidst gunfire, amidst stun grenades, amidst fucking smoke grenades, tear gas, just trying to get some food. You can hear the shots in the background going off. Just disturbing on so many levels. There are innocent people being hurt badly, needlessly. He said American staff on the sites monitor those coming back to seek food and document anyone considered suspicious. He said they share such information with the Israeli military. Videos provided by one of the contractors and taken at the site show hundreds of Palestinians crowded between metal gates, jostling for aid amid the sound of bullets, stun grenades, and the sting of pepper spray. Other videos include a conversation between English-speaking men discussing how to disperse crowds and encouraging each other after bursts of gunfire. Let's take a look. Again, look at the scenes for people trying to get aid, trying to get sustenance, trying to get food for their families. Many of these people, if not all of these people, walking 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 miles even just to get to this point here, only to be fired upon with stun grenades, bullets. Look at this. Barbed wire surrounding them, metal gates surrounding them. The testimonies from contractors combined with the videos, internal reports, and text messages obtained by the AP offer a rare glimpse into the Gaza Humanitarian Aid Foundation, the newly created secretive American organization backed by Israel to feed Gaza's stripped population. This is what we were talking about in that last article on the other show, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which is a secretive American organization with ties to the CIA and other organizations that are literally trying to recruit and get Palestinians to these aid spots, these aid sites, only to then treat them like this, only to then shoot them, only to then kill them or hurt them with stun grenades, only to then to drop tear gas on them. It's fucking sickening. Last month, the U.S. government pledged $30 million for the group to continue operations, the first known U.S. donation to the group, whose other funding sources remain opaque. So we're talking about funding. We're talking about, as this destructive, demonstrative, fucking dangerous, shitty, decrepit, stanky bill is passed. We're talking about how fiscally irresponsible the Republicans are and have been, especially with this legislation. But how much they complain about how much money and food and aid and assistance is going to other places around the country for things that they don't agree on. Yet they have no problem sending $30 million to a secretive American organization known as the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation that lures Gazans into fucking aid sites only to be shot. Journalists have been unable to access the GHF sites located in Israeli military-controlled zones. The AP cannot independently verify the contractor stories. A spokesperson for Safe Ridge Solutions, logistics company by the GHF, told the AP that there have been no serious injuries. So that's just their bullshit comeback. Aid operation is controversial. More than 2 million Palestinians are living through a catastrophic humanitarian aid crisis since Hamas attacked on October 7th. Israel has bombarded and laid siege to the strip, leaving many teetering on the edge. We know what's going on. This number is definitely low. So yeah, I just wanted to give you a little bit of insight into what's going on with that story as well. Let's see if I can bring me back. I know there was another one that was sent here too. I'm going to mark this because I read it. Oh yeah, this is this one as well. So the first detainees, the first immigrant detainees have arrived at Florida's fucking alligator Alcatraz. Another little bit of news. Disturbing. Look at this bullshit. Is this a video? Hold on. I want to see if they have any news coverage of these people arriving at the fucking stanky site. Here we go. You better be there. The fuck? I gotta say, I'm not 100% sure what was going on in that video. It looked to me like they may have been taking down a sign that says Alligator Alcatraz, right? Are they putting that up or are they taking that down? Not 100% sure on that one, but again, it has been reported first immigration detainees arrive at Alligator Alcatraz. The first group of immigrants have arrived at the new detention center deep in Florida's Everglades that officials have dubbed Alligator Alcatraz. A spokesperson for Republican State's Attorney General James Uthmeier told the Associated Press, "People are there." Great. Next up, back to where they came from. I'm not going to read their bigoted comments. The facility at an airport used for training facility, about 3,000 detainees. The center was built in 8 days, features more than 200 security cameras, 28,000 plus feet, 8,500 meters of barbed wire, and 400 security personnel. Built in 8 fucking days. Tell me how secure, how comfortable, how humane that facility could possibly be after being built in the Florida fucking Everglades in 8 days. Ladies and gentlemen, can anybody guess it? Yeah, Alligator Auschwitz is what it's going to be called from now on. Thank you, Tiff. Appreciate that. That was good. I don't know where you I don't know if you were the first one to come up with that. You were the first one I saw in the chat, so I'm going to give you the credit for it. Alligator Auschwitz it is. Excuse me. And there was a few more things. Let me just make sure that I'm running through everything before I get you guys out of here. I saw this. Fuck, I meant to bring this up with Denver. That's my fault. There was a Russian deputy Navy commander killed in Kursk. Let me just take a look at this article right here. This is actually reported by the Moscow Times here. You can see. So the deputy commander of Russia's Navy, Major General Mikhail Gudakov, was killed in a Ukrainian attack in the Kursk region, authorities say. Primory region Governor Oleg Kozymyako was the first to confirm the general's death in a post and a telegram expressing his condolences to the family of the soldiers who died in the Kursk. So there are other reports of people being killed in this. Unconfirmed radio reports suggest Gudkov and 10 other senior military officers were killed right here in a Ukrainian missile strike on their command post near the town of Korenevo, around 30 kilometers from the border with Ukraine's Sumy region. The Russian military broadcaster Svedsa, citing the defense military, later reported that the general died on Wednesday during combat duty in one of the border areas, Kursk region. He was part of the Russian Pacific Fleet 155th Guards Naval Infantry Brigade. Then President Vladimir Putin informed Gudkov of his promotion during the televised meeting with the crew of the nuclear submarine. So he's obviously a high-ranking person to have met Vladimir Putin. Let's see here. There were more reports of people that, let's see here. I thought this also gave a rundown of the other people that were killed in the attack. But, you know, an eye for an eye, I'll just say. An eye for a fucking eye. And I'm sorry, but if you're going to go for my eye and I just happen to take both your eyes out while ripping your arms off and beating you to death with your fucking legs, then sorry. But you came for my eyes first. So there was that. There was, let's see here. I don't know if it's prudent enough. Here, let's just, oh, yep. This is one that Mel, this is another one pertaining. Here we go. We're back at it again, folks. We're back at it again. Not only are they luring Gazans into humanitarian aid centers so they can then shoot them and drop fucking grenades on them, but we're also still seeing headlines like this. Strikes killed 94 Palestinians in Gaza, including 45 people waiting for aid. Right, as we just talked about. Israeli airstrikes and shootings killed 94 Palestinians in Gaza late Wednesday and Thursday. So in less than a 2-day period, including 45 who were attempting to get much-needed humanitarian aid, hospitals and the health ministry said Thursday. Families wept over the bodies from a strike that hit a tent camp during the night as displaced people slept in southern Gaza. At least 13 members of a single family were killed. Fucking hell. Including at least 6 children under 12. Jesus fucking Christ. That is fucking outrageous. 13 members of a single family. I don't even know how to process that. That is just outrageous. My children, my beloved, waiting Intisar Abu Asi, sobbing over the bodies of her son and daughters and their young children. Another woman kissed the forehead of her dead little girl, wrapped in a blanket on the floor of the morgue at the Nasser Hospital in the city of Khan Yunis. In central Gaza, a boy stroked the face of his dead sister. Fuck me. fuck me. In central Gaza, oh boy, fuck me. Stroked the face of his dead sister, 6-year-old Heba Abu Tiwi, in a morgue at Al Aqsa Martyrs Hospital. The girl and another of her brothers were among 8 killed when a strike Wednesday evening and hit near a stand selling falafel. A separate strike on a school in Gaza sheltering displaced people also killed 15 people. The toll from the strikes emerged as more Palestinians were killed in nearly daily shootings while trying to obtain aid. 5 were killed on the roads leading to the food distribution sites run by the Gazan Humanitarian Aid Foundation, that fucking shit that we just talked about. Another 40 were killed while waiting for trucks carrying UN aid in several locations around Gaza. According to hospital officials, witnesses said Israeli troops regularly unleashed barrages on crowds of Palestinians trying to reach the GHF sites. Witnesses have also reported troops opening fire when crowds of people massed near military-run zones of Gaza waiting for UN trucks to enter. More than 500 Palestinians have been killed and hundreds more wounded since the food distribution sites opened. So they're just killing sites at this point. They're far less about aid than they're more about fucking destruction and murder at this point. What else we got? Sorry, I'm just trying to give you the rundown of the news. I know I'm over. I did want to cover this, but this is a this is a Russian military expert kind of describing what he thinks about Donald Trump's phone call. I'll speed it up a little bit, and I'll see if we can just play a couple minutes of this before I let you go. I can't end on that shit. I can't let you go on that. We gotta at least cover something else. So let me see if I can do this. Show this on the screen for you guys. We'll get into this a little bit, just a couple minutes, like I said, and then I'll get you guys out of here. I'll thank everybody that donated and contributed to the show, and then I'll get you guys out of here. All right. Sorry, I didn't. It's just the way it was written there was just tough for me to take there. So this is Putin to Trump in a call. Russian will not back down from Ukraine's goals. I just, again, wanted to get into a little bit of what this expert, so-called expert, I'm not sure who it is or what it is, had to say about the phone call. So here we go.
President Trump has wrapped up a nearly hour-long call with Russian President Vladimir Putin, according to Russian state media. TASS, the two leaders discussed Ukraine, Iran, and other issues. On Ukraine, a Kremlin aide said that President Putin told President Trump that Russia would not back down from its war goals in Ukraine. Let's go to senior White House reporter Kevin Liptak with more. Kevin, what more are we learning about what happened during this call?
Yeah, the White House saying that the call has ended, but that's about all they're saying. We're getting most of the details now from the Kremlin side of things. The Kremlin saying that Putin made clear to President Trump that Russia would not back off of its war aims in Ukraine, while at the same time saying that they would continue these bilateral discussions with Ukraine about potentially bringing this war to an end. And so I think if you're President Trump going into this call, very much hoping to make progress on bringing the Ukraine conflict to an end, it's not clear, at least from the Kremlin readout, that he had a great deal of success on that front, but clearly trying to keep open these channels of communication as he works to resolve that conflict. One interesting point that the Kremlin made was that the two men did not discuss this decision on the part of the Trump administration this week to put a halt on weapons shipments to Ukraine. The Trump administration had said that they were concerned about dwindling U.S. stockpiles and put those weapons on hold. That topic did not come up in these two men's conversations, according to Moscow. But it will be interesting to see if and when President Trump describes this particular conversation.
Which again, me, a former plumber, fucking just some fucking moron with a camera and a microphone can think in his brain, if you're doing these treasonous acts by denying weapons to a country at war, weapons that were already guaranteed by the previous administration, at least, at the fucking very least, you asshole, use that as fucking leverage in your phone call in order to get some concessions from the man committing these atrocities that are launching and lobbing rockets, missiles, and drones into Ukrainian cities night after fucking night. Use that to your advantage, you dumb son of a bitch.
last time that he was talking in public about Putin was at the NATO summit last week, and he said that he thought his Russian counterpart was misguided in this conflict, that he wanted to find a way to bring this war to an end, but that he didn't necessarily know how to do it. It will be interesting to see if this conversation changed the president's perspective
Of course not.
in any way. It did come amid this flurry of diplomacy between the West and with Moscow. The French President Emmanuel Macron spoke to Putin earlier this week for the first time in 3 years. And so you do see sort of the diplomatic gears starting to grind, but at least based on the Kremlin's description of this call, it doesn't appear as if the war in Ukraine is coming any closer to a resolution.
Great. Awesome. So it's a fucking waste of a phone call, waste of time, useless fucking individuals, pieces of shit, fucking incompetent fucking losers, getting absolutely nothing accomplished while fucking people die on a daily and nightly basis around the world because of their fucking incompetency. Thank you, JD. Sorry. Kind of went off a little bit in the last few, but it enrages me to absolutely no end to see that this shit is happening around the world, as well as the destruction happening to our own country by our own government. And these problems are literally directly because of the fecklessness and the uselessness and the incompetency of the current U.S. administration. Like, this shit should not be fucking happening in Gaza. This shit, Israel should not be allowed to be fucking doing what they're doing. The United States should not stand for it. We should not be supplying weapons. We should not be supplying fucking shit to anything that's happening pertaining to that situation. We should be backing and supporting the people that are being fucking ethnically cleansed and genocided. We should be backing and supporting the Ukrainian military and the Ukrainian citizens with all our fucking power and might. It is directly because of the fecklessness and the incompetency of Donald Trump and his fucking regime that we see children being killed on a daily basis, that we see Israel being allowed to just murder at will, that we see U.S. agencies, secretive U.S. agencies setting up fucking fake humanitarian aid sites so they can lure Gazans in and fucking, treat them inhumanely, shoot them, fucking throw tear gas on them, throw smoke grenades on them, do whatever the fuck they want to them. This should not be happening. I don't think I have to tell you guys, but if fucking somebody is watching this right now that does not understand how ridiculous, insane, and murderous this is, and how easily and how quickly it should be stopped by a United States, a strong United States administration, a strong United States government with a fucking backbone, a spine, and a brain. This shit should not be fucking happening and would not be fucking happening if I was in office. I can tell you that much right now. Nor would our own fucking government be allowed to pass bills that would directly kill American citizens, that would leave millions of American citizens without a fucking pot to piss in, without a fucking grain of a morsel of food on their fucking plates, without a piece of bread to butter. Nor would that shit be happening in our fucking government. So again, if this is not the fucking time for you to get the fuck out of your seats and get to fuck into the streets, I don't know what the fucking time is. I don't know if we're waiting for an actual fucking Holocaust situation to take place at the hands of our own government. I don't know if it's going to take another fucking million people to die like happened in COVID. What the fuck is it going to take for you to get out of your fucking house and into the streets to protest what this government is doing? How much longer are you going to let yourselves be fucking walked on and stepped on and fucking rolled over by your shitty fucking congressman, by your fucking hack fucking senator? Because I'm fucking sick of it. And I'm not even in the worst fucking position. I'm relatively fucking privileged when it comes to this shit. And I'm fucking sick of it. So fuck. Let's fucking do something. I'm sick of sitting here fucking talking to a camera with a fucking microphone while people are dying. Anyways. Like, this is not fucking some far away fucking issue. This is not some fucking issue that's not going to affect you or anybody in your family. This will directly affect you and many people in your family. I can see it in the chat already, people being affected. I haven't even left the fucking computer yet. I haven't even left my seat since the fucking bill passed. And I already know fucking 10, 12, 20 people that are going to be directly affected by this bill. This is not something that's going to affect some fucking small minority. This is not talking about trans people in women's sports. We're talking about fucking 17 million fucking Americans that are now going to have to jump through hoops that they possibly can't jump through in order to get the fucking financial assistance they need, in order to get the medical treatment they need, in order to get the fucking food assistance they need and require. So fuck July 4th. Fuck the independence and freedom of this country, because I don't feel fucking independent. I don't feel free at this moment. I don't feel like I live in a fucking free country. I don't feel like I have the freedom to do as I choose, as long as it doesn't harm and affect other people. I don't feel like I have the ability to have people in my family to further get the fucking medical assistance and treatment they so deserve. I don't feel that shit. I'm not fucking feeling it, America. I don't know about you. But you can stick your fucking fireworks straight up Donald Trump's asshole and then light them off for all I care. Because I don't feel fucking free. I don't feel independent. I don't feel like we have no kings. I feel like we have a fucking king with his fucking little court that he has ruling over this country, putting in fucking policies that only affect the rich, that only support them, that only benefit them, while stripping rights and benefits and aid and fucking food from the poorest motherfuckers in this country. So now is the fucking time. Now is the time. And I'm sorry I'm swearing so much, because I'm probably not going to be able to fucking repost this, because it's probably going to have bleep after bleep after bleep in order for people to actually see it. But I hope you like this and share this and fucking put this out so people know that there are passionate people out there that will support you in your fight. And I'm not even being directly affected by this at this moment. I am a privileged individual in this country. And I know it and recognize it. And I'm sorry for the people that aren't. So I don't care if it's a fucking hands-off rally. I don't care if it's a No Kings rally. I don't care if it's a rally that you set up yourself. Let's fucking march on Washington. A fucking general strike needs to be had, and it needs to be had right the fuck now. We cannot fucking afford to wait till midterms. I don't feel like. As much as I believe that a blue wave is coming, as much as I believe that change is coming because the people are so fucking upset, there are still thousands, hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of people that will be affected negatively by these policies before we can even get to that moment. And I'd like to fucking help those people. I'd like to be out there supporting and yelling and fucking screaming for those people to get the assistance back that they fucking so deserve. So I'm fucking sorry if it seems radical. I'm fucking sorry if you think it seems extreme, but you only have one fucking person and one party to blame for my extremities, my fucking, the extremeness of what I'm fucking saying or what you think I'm fucking saying. And that's Donald Trump and the fucking Republican Party, because they have done nothing but push me farther and farther fucking to the left with each policy, which each fucking interview, which each speech and fucking conservative talking point they come out with pushes me farther and farther to the fucking left. So if you don't want people to be radicalized, cut out the fucking bullshit and start helping the American people. Otherwise, God fucking help me, I will fucking radicalize as many fucking people as I can possibly get my hands on. And I swear to God, I will march on fucking Washington my goddamn self. So let's get into fucking thanking you fabulous people for everything that you do. Sorry for the emotion, but fuck are we doing in this country? The fucking United States of America, supposedly the greatest country in the nation. And what is our government doing? Kicking you right in the fucking teeth is what they're doing. Taking your fucking bank account, taking what you have in your savings, what little amount you have in your checking, and giving it directly to the fucking richest people in this country. While only making it more difficult for you to access the federal assistance that you fucking deserve. That you probably worked your entire fucking life to get. The injuries that you sustained, probably at work, trying to make these fucking corporations run. Your back problems that you have from the years at the fucking factory or years sitting at a computer desk. Now you have disabilities because of that, and you need some assistance. You need some fucking help because you can't do it by your goddamn self. Because your handicapped child takes up a majority of your fucking time and energy. And you can't afford, you don't have the time of day to go out and get another fucking job. It's ridiculous to even fucking think that you possibly could. So if now's not the time where the American people look themselves in the fucking mirror, right? Grab your balls and step the fuck up right now with the voice that God gave you, with the rights that this fucking country affords you, and get the fuck out there and resist. Get the fuck out there and protest. Because this shit cannot stand. This shit cannot happen in our country. This cannot be normalized. And I'm sorry for the fucking rant. And I'm sorry for the swears. But fuck are we doing here? All right, let's get into the thank yous. WW, thank you so much. 16 months. Let's go. That's got to be one of the longest. Thank you, WW. I appreciate you. Thank you, Tobias, for the $5 super sticker. Thank you, Neil. And again, if you're just joining us, this is your first time watching. Again, I promise I'm not always this outlandish and I don't know, emotional, I guess. But to see people in the chat, people in my chat that I respect, that I am, families with, that I chat with in other chats, to see them be directly affected by this bill in such a negative way, in such a negative fucking light, really fucking puts a fucking spur under my ass. Really does. Really chaps my fucking ass to a point I don't know if chapstick can help anymore. And with the passion and emotion and the fucking voice that God gave me, I promise to use that in every way I know how, in every way I possibly can to support and to get your rights back and to make sure that you get everything that you deserve. So just want to make sure that you guys know that. Fuck, again, I can't stop. Once you pop, you can't stop, I guess. So, Neil, thank you so much. Jenny Faye, let's go. Thanks for the great content as I work, cleaning, and dying of heat stroke in a house without AC since clients are on vacation. Good luck on the goal. Happy 4th to you, Mel, Logan, and the Lobsters. Thank you so much, Jenny Faye. I'd love to say happy 4th right back to you, but it's just not a happy 4th this time. But I absolutely appreciate the sentiment. I absolutely appreciate your kind words, and I shall absolutely pass on the hellos to both Mel, Logan, and the chat. So thank you, Jenny Faye. I appreciate that. Mel, thank you for tuning. Thank you for chipping in. Thank you. I appreciate it. I want to see Denver Alien Bigfoot show. Oh, because of the conspiracy theories? Yeah, I got you. Thank you, Tobias. 16 months, another 16 months member. Thank you so much for your mild stone. I appreciate it. Thank you, Nor Mudge. I don't know why I just said that. Thank you, Nordez, for the $10 gift. I appreciate that so much. You're always here, being a fantastic member, contributing, giving memberships in any way that you possibly can, and it doesn't go unnoticed. And it really goes a long way to help this channel. And then I really have to stop for a second here, and I think you guys will obviously recognize the importance of me taking the time out to recognize Pierre for his overwhelmingly kind, overwhelmingly generous contribution to this channel not only this contribution, but also earlier contributions as well. He has done so much for so many people. And I have learned so much about him and what he's accomplished and what he's able to do in such a short period of time. And I would absolutely be honored to have Pierre on the podcast anytime he wants. So I would love to dive into his military expertise. Again, what he thinks about the situation going on in Ukraine, and obviously his takes on the state of United States politics as well. So, Pierre, I honestly cannot thank you enough, really, honestly and truly, from the bottom of my heart, from Mel and Logan and everybody here. Thank you, really. Fuck me, I suck at this. All right, give me a sec. Fuck me. I'm back. But it's very touching and I feel very honored. Colleen, no, excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm wrong. Sarah, thank you so much for the $5 super sticker. Really goes a long way to help this channel, Sarah. I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for your viewership. I hope you have a wonderful day. And I guess, pray that you don't and aren't affected by this, destructive bill that the United States government has seen fit to pass. So thank you so much, Colleen. Yes, Ice Thugs raided a meat processing plant 2 miles away from me in Omaha. They're being held in North Platte, Nebraska, awaiting the next site. It's going on all over the place. And again, they're taking the easiest. Like, they're just going to the easiest and most well-known spots that throughout this country people have known. It's not been a big fucking secret that these companies and corporations use illegal immigrants, use undocumented workers in order to make their factories run. And it's also not a secret that they use that to their advantage. So when the workers rise up, or when they ask for a pay raise, or they ask for some fucking benefits, they just give a little call to ICE or Border Patrol and get these people taken out, and they'll just fucking put in the next crew of people working at the same rate. And that's just the fucking revolving door that happens in meat processing plants and fucking factories and animal processing plants all over the fucking country. So that's what's going on now, is probably these fucking CEOs trying to gain favor in some instances with ICE, with Donald Trump and his administration, giving the phone call and saying, hey, I got a bunch of them here you can round up. Don't worry. I probably got a few more that I could scoop up after that and pay them even less. So again, now with this additional funding that's in the bill for ICE, for Border Patrol, you guys can only hope to see, we can only hope to see that this shit is going to not only continue, but get exponentially worse, right? Because they're not going after gangsters. They're not going after criminals. They're not going in tough areas. They're not going into the wolf's den or the lion's pack or the fucking shark's teeth or the whale's dick or whatever the fuck Donald Trump's been saying about these fucking pricks. They're going into Home Depot parking lots. They're beating up fathers of Marines. They're arresting pregnant women. They're deporting U.S. citizens. That's what they're doing. They're going into schools and hospitals. They're going into meat processing plants. The easy places, the fucking well-known places, so that they can make their jobs just a little bit easier while not going after any fucking criminals whatsoever. So thank you, Colleen. I'm so sorry I'm so far over, Mel. I apologize. I'm sorry about that. Tom, thank you so much, buddy. Happy birthday. I really appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful birthday. I'm sorry about the obviously unfortunate news, but that cannot be all-consuming. That cannot consume your life. Please don't let it consume your life. Please take time out for your mental health. Please take time out to do things that you enjoy doing that will take your focus and mental attention off of what's going on as far as politically, as far as in the news. Read a book, watch a movie. Please, guys, please be taking care of yourselves. I really mean that. If golf's your thing, go out and golf is a great way to clear your mind, clear your head. If you play basketball, if you like going out and taking pictures of birds, whatever it may be, take time out for yourself. Please make sure you're taking care of yourself first, because it's very important to me that you guys stay healthy, both mentally and physically, to stay in this fight and be as effective as possible, right? So thank you, Tom. Happy birthday again, buddy. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you for the $2. JD for the $5. Thank you so much, dude. As always. Bicycle Mike again for the $2. I want to join you in a march on Friday. Listen, people, march. I don't care where it is, how far you have to drive, where you have to go. Let's grow this movement. Let's grow this resistance, and let's show this government that we do mean fucking business here. How about that? Because we have the power. The power is with the people. We make this country run. We don't go to work. These companies, these corporations do not make money. The CEOs do not get their yachts. They don't get their fucking 14th plane and their 17th home while we struggle to put fucking frozen dinners on the plate for our kids at night. Right? If I was in office, that shit wouldn't be fucking happening. But take care of yourselves, please. Take care of yourselves. I really mean that. That is a huge, really important point that I should make more often on my show, and I shall do going forward, that you need time for yourself. Don't always be constantly online watching the news, being depressed. Please, I beg of you, go for a walk, go for a jog, hang out with your grandkids, talk to your nieces, nephews, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, whatever it may be. Get on the phone with your mom and dad. Tell them you love them. See what's going on in their world. WW, I thank you very much for the 333. Bullhorns are fun. Does yours squeak? I don't know. Mel stole it. I think it's got a bunch of noises on it. Yeah. I can also play my music through it, which is pretty cool. So thank you. Rox, thank you for your $2 contributions. Always appreciated. Same thing with moms. Love to you, Boston Brian, Mel, and Logan. Right back at you, moms. Please let me know about your interviews that you're doing. I would love to play a part or help or boost those in any way that I possibly can. So Becky, thank you so much. Thank you for being here, Boston Brian, Mel, and Logan too. Thank you so much, Becky. I will absolutely pass along your thanks, your appreciation. It is reciprocated, I promise. Hey, Marie, how are you? Stronger together. Absolutely, Marie. I appreciate that. And I love your praying mantis picture. I appreciate that, Marie. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Nicholas, thank you so much for the $2. Let's go, brother. Sounds like fun. Mark, fantastic human being you are as a mod, as just a fan, as just a viewer. You are fantastic. Please, you and Elizabeth, I hope you can feel my appreciation and Mel's appreciation and Logan's appreciation for everything that you do for this channel. So I really hope that comes across. So Laurie, thank you so much for being here for 3 months. I'm a member on both Patreon and YouTube. Let's fucking go, Laurie. Thank you so much. The double dip. I love the double dippers. The double dippers are where it's at. And just for a second, if you too want to become a channel member, there's a button just underneath me. You click that. It is $2.99 for a month to become a YouTube member. That is honestly a buck less than a buck less than a gallon of gas in California. So for less than a gallon of gas in California, you could help contribute to this show in ways that you probably don't even know that you're doing when you contribute, right? But it goes so far, and it does a lot to not only ensure my confidence in my abilities to run this show, but also the financial capabilities for me to run this show and Mel and I to run this show, right? So thank you, Laurie. Let's see here. Who's next? Thank you, Roxanne. I appreciate you very much. There's also patreon.com, which was the other media platform she was talking about there. Patreon.com/Boston Brian. That's, I believe, $5 a month. You can become a channel member there, and that gets you included into the Zooms that we have each month. One for the VIP and then one for the other 2 levels. So it's fun that we get to see face to face, and I get to actually see a face that belongs to a screen name. So if you have the financial capabilities, I would please ask of you to check out at least those 2 options. Thank you, Roxanne. I appreciate you. Let's fucking go. We got to stay strong, my friends. And I feel like this chat, this group, this family is strong. I really do. As corny and maybe as early it is to call, I really do feel like, seeing a lot of the same people in every show, seeing the same people contribute, seeing this family get built, and the conversations and the relationships that you guys are building on the side with each other is really a cool thing to see. Really is a cool thing to see. So thank you, Nordez, for the 10. Let's fucking go. Thank you, JD, for the 2. Thank you, Rosanna, for the 9 months. We are the resistance. Let's fucking go. I appreciate you, Dame Dog, Big Dog in the house. We need this positive community more now than ever. Thank you so much for being here for 8 months, dude. I really do appreciate you. Looking forward to seeing you in the Zoom. Moms, as always, hooray for a family Zoom. Thank you so much for the 2. You always brighten my light. You always make my day a little better, Moms. I appreciate it. Thank you, Libby G, for the $5 super sticker. You are fantastic. A really valued member of our community here. So thank you so much. Laurie, again, loving the family that we have here. I love the love for the family that we have here. So I appreciate it. Tobias kicking in with a $10 super sticker. Thank you, T-Man. Appreciate that. Mark, again, on behalf of the lovely Elizabeth, her super chats are not working. I'm so sorry about that, Elizabeth. Sometimes mine don't work as well. It's kind of on and off with that, but I appreciate you going the extra step to make Mark do that for you. So thank you so much. And I'm curious whose bank account that 5 came out of, Mark. I have a feeling that came out of yours. But thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Mark, to both of you. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Excuse me, Becky. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. You can say it however you want to. Love your accent. Yeah, it's Oregon. You gotta change me. You ain't gonna change me. Thank you, Becky. I appreciate that. Really, I really do. It's funny. And thank you, Candy. Oh my goodness, Candy. Thank you so much for the $50 super chat. She says, I'm crabby, just take my money, which is one of the funnier super chat messages I've ever received. I might have to save that in some way to see if I can put that on like a wall. Because that's just fucking hilarious. Just take my money and shut the fuck up. But right underneath her, right after her is Rosanna again with the $20 super sticker. Thank you, Rosanna. I appreciate you. I really do. I hope you have a wonderful day. Nothing but sunshine and rainbows and money in the pocket, baby. Let's go. Who's next? Roxanne. Roxanne. You don't have to put on that red light. I'm still not warmed up. So don't judge. Thank you, Roxanne. Thank you, Noah Dez, as well for the $5. For the 5 gifted memberships as well. You're always appreciated and a valued member of this community. Maggie Cat, thank you. Don't forget PayPal. He gets 100%. Scared for my Medicaid members losing coverage and SNAP. I'm in SW helping vulnerable populations in New York. I'm an SW. I'm a SW. Social worker. Am I getting that right? Maggie, appreciate what you do. Appreciate all your help. Appreciate your contributions. And yes, that's the only reason that I kind of not only put these up, but kind of stress the PayPal and the Venmo links, only because that is how the only way that 100% of what you're trying to contribute actually goes to the place that you're contributing. YouTube takes a cut. YouTube takes a month or 2 to get that money to you. So there is, obviously different policies and different ways these companies do things. And I only say that because the Venmo just goes directly to you right away. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But any way that you can contribute to the show is appreciated and just as helpful. So I'm just pointing out something. And thank you, Maggie, for pointing that out as well. I appreciate that. Let's see. We got a bunch. Geez, we got a lot today. Holy sugar cat. Let's see here. Empathy, profanity bonus, JT. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, buddy. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Mark came in with the $20. Let's go, Mark. Appreciate you, dude. Appreciate you, man. And I appreciate any first-time listeners that are here. I appreciate anybody that, may have just stumbled upon this podcast or stumbled upon this live stream and stayed and listened and kind of found a fit where you belong in the family that kind of fits your beliefs and you like what you're hearing. Thank you so much for taking the time out to try a new stream, to try this new podcast. And give it a shot because, it means a lot to me. It really does. So Mark, other people that I may not recognize in the chat a lot, it means a lot for you to not only be watching, but to also be contributing to the channel like that. So thank you so much. People like Joseph, thank you so much. Former plumber here agreeing and supporting you. We have to fight now. Thank you, Joseph. Let's fucking go, buddy. I feel your support. I'm right there with you by your side. Again, at some point, I feel like these rallies and these protests are going to grow into such a big and massive protest that maybe there is a good chance that a lot of us Brandtologists here, the family here of lobsters, may be in the same place at the same time. Or maybe we can go the extra step and at some point set up a little meet and greet, set up a little meeting somewhere that is in a locale where some people can come and I can get the opportunity to meet you guys face to face and shake your hands and thank you guys. So hopefully we can get that accomplished as well. So Mark, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Progressively Independent, thank you for becoming a new YouTube member. Really means a lot, helps the channel a lot. Again, Joseph, I appreciate you, buddy. Frank, thank you so much for the 5 gifted. As always, you are appreciated, my man. I hope you have a wonderful day. Annette, thank you so much for the 5. Joanna, thank you so much for the $10. Brian, keep your passion. Take care of yourself. We need you. I try to give you what I can. More than enough. More than enough. Like I say, you guys are going above and beyond at the point you like, share, and subscribe to this channel. That is the basis. That is the line that, that you do not need to cross. But if you have the financial capabilities, if you are in the financial position, if you do have the, the passion, if I am informative, if I do make you laugh, if I do give you some form of entertainment, then there are the other mediums that you could use in order to contribute to the channel. But otherwise, liking, sharing, subscribing, that's your job. That's your duty. That is it. Those are things that are free. That is what you have to do. So thank you, John. I appreciate that very much. Carol became a new member. Thank you so much. Frida sent in $10. I appreciate that so much. Let's see here. Jerry with another $2. I'm marching with you, Boston Brian. Let's fucking go. Let's see here. Where did I leave off? Benny Loco's in here somewhere. Yep, Benny Loco. The time is now with $2. And to round it out, finally, with you wonderful people, Mad Mac, been a member for 3 months. Let's do this, guys. United we stand, right? United we stand, and if we're going to fall, by fucking George, by God, we fall together. Right? So thank you guys so much. I'm sorry that I went so far over to anybody that has something to do. That wasn't planned. I really didn't mean to go that far. I just kind of got a little passionate, a little heated, a little upset at the destruction that our own government is, putting upon our own citizens. So I'm going to let you guys go get on today. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for all the contributions. Pierre, just unbelievable. Thank you so much. All you guys have done so much in order to keep this channel running, to make this channel grow. We're on our way to 15,000. Oh, hold on. Time out. Let me go to Venmo. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. I keep forgetting that I'm doing this. Hold on. Yes, I am. Candy Anderson on Venmo. James Murphy on Venmo. Let's see here. Thomas Major, thank you so much. Let's see here. Thomas Major again. Jennifer Ellsworth, thank you guys so much, all of you who contribute in any way, shape, or form. You guys are fantastic. And, you're right here, guys. You're right here. You really are. So I'm out. I'm going to let you guys go. I do appreciate it so much. And I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm sorry about the terrible news, but make sure you take care of yourself mentally and physically. But again, get out there, get off your ass, get out of your seat, get into the streets, stay aggressive, stay loud, keep your head on a swivel while you're out there because you never know who else is out there trying to cause trouble. And I hope to see you guys at a rally or a march someday soon, all right? This has been Blunt Politics. I am Boston Brian. I hope to see you guys again. What's today's show? Is today Thursday? So I hope to see you guys again Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern. That is 10 a.m. Pacific. Please come and check it out. That would mean a lot to me. I appreciate it. I am out. I'll see you guys later. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Bye, guys. Before I do that, thank you to the mods. Thank you to the mods. All of you fantastic mods do more than you'll ever know in order to keep this place running, because without you guys helping make that chat a safe space, we would be shut down so fast it would make your fucking head spin. So to all of the mods, every single one of you, thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your assistance. And thank you for keeping this program on and keeping this chat a safe space. So I wanted to make sure I get that in there too. So thank you, mods. All right, I'm out. Peace, guys.
lobsters, right? There weren't trees around when lobsters first manifested themselves on the planet.
Like we always do about this time.
Brian, you're drunk. You're drunk.
We appreciate those camels. I haven't seen camels like that in a long time.
When you ran out the healthy arms, you ran out of really healthy. They had great arms, but they ran out. It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular, and pitchers, I guess you could say, in really particular.
What a donkey. But I just want to come back on because I'm going to pretend this is planned and say, I love you, Dad. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Mom. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys and all your support. And again, thank you to the mods. Thank you to Mel. Thank you to Logan. Thank you to everybody for making this happen. I appreciate you guys. So take 2, and maybe I'll just click that other button this time. Fuck. Bye.
By always coming back around in your face. You tried to kill me, you son of a bitch. So welcome to the revolution.
I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis.
Fucking Nazis.
He says, wrecked them, damn near killed them. I'm just dandy. I got a bowl of chocolate pudding in my underpants.
Hey, you got a little chubby going there.
Call them dumps, big massive dumps.
The big, fat, sloppy United States.